All praises to the Most High. Glad to be back in Gastonia. All praise to the Most High. And we are here. And I'm going to actually continue a class that I did last week. But the title is different. So first of all, I want to say shalom to my brothers. Shalom, brothers. Shalom, shalom sisters. Are y'all all right? Okay, just checking now. And shalom to my brothers and sisters that's following us online. Again, we give thanks and honor and glory to our Father for allowing us to come together in fellowship. Okay, and we are in the season of our historical deliverance. Okay, the Passover season. We're coming up on it. So it's important that we check our spirits, make sure that the leaven is out of our houses, is out of our places where we be, in our dwellings, and also we want to make sure that we get the leaven, most importantly, get the leaven out of our spirit. Okay, so we're going to touch on that way down the line. Tonight's class is entitled Vision, Faith, and Deliverance. So I'm going to deal with these 3 points. I'm going to deal with vision, faith, and deliverance. I'm going to deal with them in stages. Okay, it's different from the title that I had last week, but it's a continuation in terms of the order that we were going in. Okay, last week's topic was shepherding the flock while in Babylon, meaning Babylon the Great. And the purpose of that class was to point out how important it is for the shepherds, the leaders, to instruct the people, especially in a time or the times that's coming up now. We're in some perilous times, and the scriptures say the wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. So it is up to the watchman to be able to take the order that the Most High has given us and direct and order the people. Okay, set the people in order, and that's what our job is. So that's what that class last week was about. And as we know, there was some points that was brought out in there, like, for instance, I know one of the main pieces that came out was about what we witnessed in the court system, where you have a lot of our people that actually have their faith in the justice system, so to speak, and that's all they know. They don't know about this order here. They don't know about the Most High's salvation that's out there for them. They don't know about that. So they put their whole hope in this system. And the scriptures talk about that. Deacon Abiel last week read the scripture about how they declare themselves not guilty. And they hold themselves. Okay, so they don't really judge themselves for the evil that they do. All right, so but today we're going to continue on. We're going to talk about vision, we're going to talk about faith, and we're going to ultimately talk about deliverance. Now, I have a lot in this lesson, and I don't think I'll finish it, to be honest. But as I move down through it, I want to really zone in on some of the points that I want to bring out today, okay? When we find ourselves living, or but I shall say merely existing. I'm talking about us as black people, as the Israelites. We're living in this society. We're living in this world, and we're not living according to what God made us to be. We're living according to someone else's definition. So let me make my point even clearer. When we find ourselves living or merely existing outside of our creation, meaning the way God created us, it begs the question, how did we fall from what God created us to be? Okay, so that's what we first have to look at. We have to get an understanding of who we are. We have to get an understanding of what God made. And once we have that understanding, then we have to question how is it that we're not living up to what God made? And once that begins to happen, you begin to ask questions. You begin to try to look back. You're trying to get the answers. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to say, well, how did I get here? And how did I lose what I once had? Okay? Many of us know about us coming over here on slavery, on the slave ships. So we know that we lost our language. We lost our heritage. We lost our name. We lost it all. lost our minds. You know, but had it not been for any relic of history, we would actually think that this is the beginning point. We would actually think that the factory that made us in America, I'm going to say it that way, because America made Negroes. America made Hispanics. And when I say, even though you say Hispanic is in countries outside of America, don't be fooled. America's influence is everywhere. So wherever the Israelites are, America's influence, that beast, that great Babylon the Great, that beast is affecting all aspects of this planet. Okay, so wherever we are, we've been made into what America said we are to be. So if we never get any understanding about who we are before that, we would actually believe that that's us. We would actually believe that we are, quote unquote, Americans. We would actually believe that we are Negroes. We would think that we are Hispanics, Mexicans, Indians. We would think that we are these people. But once you begin to get some wake up, then you begin to realize I must have lost a whole lot, because here's my record saying that I am supposed to be this, but then I find myself merely existing. So even though they say we're living ain't really the word we've been given, because we're just really, because living means to be revitalized, to be alive. The Bible calls us dead. Give me that. Proverbs 21 and 16, I think it is. This is what's wrong with us.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
So that's what we've been made into. We've been made dead. Okay? So that's not what God made us. Give me Revelation 11 and 8. Okay? Outside of the way of understanding is talking about God's laws, God's commandments. God gave his people, his heritage, the Israelites. Okay? You got it?
Yes, sir. Revelations chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies.
And these same dead bodies, who don't know who they are. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. That's the dead that he's talking about. And their dead bodies shall do what?
Shall lie in the street of the great city.
Of the great city, Babylon the Great. That's the reason why I was talking last week about shepherding the flock through Babylon. Babylon the Great. Because the Israelites are here primarily. Go ahead.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Which is a spiritual Sodom, and it is also a spiritual Egypt. Egypt meaning bondage, Sodom meaning lesbians and homosexuals laying down with each other. Those two spirits exist on this land in big time, okay? Read that statement again. Which spiritually?
Which spiritually is called Sodom.
Read the whole verse again, because there's a part I need to expound on.
Yes, sir. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street.
And their dead bodies shall lie, meaning doing nothing. We're the Israelites, but we're not revitalized. We're not energized. We're not standing up for who we really are. We don't know about our history. We don't know about who we are as a people. So we are just basically existing. We're not living. They shall lie in the street of the great city. The greatest city on the planet is Babylon the Great. The Bible refers to this country as the city, as the great city. So within this great city has the traits of Sodom. This is where we're at. Sodom and Gomorrah was in the east. But it says that this great city will have the traits of Sodom. That's why I was using the word spiritually there, because this is not the actual Sodom, but it has the spirits of Sodom in it. And this is it. This is Sodom utopia, lesbian homosexual paradise. That's what this is. Okay? Read that again. Shall lie in the what?
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
Of the great city.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
It is spiritually called Sodom, and it is also spiritually called Egypt. This is not the actual Egypt, but it has the traits of Egypt. Why? Because the same thing that happened in ancient Egypt happened right here. And guess who it happened to? The same people, the Israelites. Bondage. That's what Egypt is talking about, which is spiritually called Egypt, which means bondage. Go ahead.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Now, that part there is heavy. Where also our Lord was crucified. With all these Bibles, With all these churches in this country, how in the world is our Lord spiritually crucified? With all of the problems that the 12 tribes of Israel, I mean, we got mental problems, psychological problems, self-hatred, can't stand each other, marital problems, dope problems, drugs, education, you name it, we got it. Because we are, like the scripture said, dead bodies. We're not alive at all. With all of these problems going on with the nation of Israel in this country where our bodies are lying at, how is it that these churches have, with all these churches here, how is it that these churches have not addressed those real deep, sick problems? Because the truth about Christ is crucified here. Jesus Christ wasn't physically crucified here. He was crucified on Calvary, like everybody, the churches know. But why is it saying a spiritual crucifixion? Because the truth, with all these Bibles here, you ain't learned the Bible yet. All these Bibles in this society, Bible after Bible, church after church, crack house after crack house. I mean, I keep mixing those two things up. I'm sorry. Church after church. The problems of our people have not been addressed yet. Read the whole thing again.
Yes, sir. Revelations chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Where also our Lord was crucified. They did not crucify the physical Jesus here, but the truth about Jesus is not taught in this land at all. Not even a little bit. How in the world could you have a society that literally hates the brown skin? And Jesus looked like that. Jesus had that brown skin with that woolly hair. Brother was here last couple of weeks ago. They threw him out of his church because he mentioned it. They said, well, wait a minute, you just can't come in here telling truth. What are you doing? Get out. And he's in church with a Bible. All of the Bibles in there is backing him up. They threw him and the Bible out. You get out and you take your Bible with you. Damn. Where also our Lord was crucified. So, again, here we are, and we're in a quest to find out who we are, because the question will be in all our minds. I remember before I came to this truth, I would ask those questions, even internally, spiritually. What did we do to be treated so badly? What did we do to catch so much hell? Why us? Why is it that I'm getting the mistreatment? Why is it that people are looking at me in a derogatory, why am I getting the short end of the stick? These are questions that all our people have. They just haven't gotten to the solutions. The Bible would explain it. But our people walk around with these question marks in their heads just like I did before I knew anything about the truth. What actually brought you to the truth is your quest to know what happened to you. That's what made you look. I made you look. Who was that? What was that song? Nas. I made you look. Can you dig it? This captivity makes you look. So we got to a point where we began to quest. When brothers walking down the street, just to let you know how serious that point is about having those question marks in our heads, think about this. And all of you, men and women, you can attest to this. You see brothers and sisters in the street, and they say, hey, well, I know the brothers do it. Hey, man, what's happening? What's going on? That's not just cliche. That's not just statements. You understand? That's not just saying what's happening like it's just a greeting. In the spirit, they're really asking, can you tell me what the hell is going on? You know, in New York, we had, you got the different groups up there, and they're like, yo, what's the word of knowledge? You know what I'm saying? What's the knowledge of the day? You had these different groups, 5%ers and all that. They used to do that kind of thing. And they were walking around and acting like they actually had the knowledge. Yo, you got the word for the day, man? Because everybody's walking around in a mental cloud of confusion. And the churches know this. And they have not addressed it. You come and sit in the churches, and none of your problems will be addressed. That's sickening. All those men, I've looked at some of the televised TVs, you know, TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar, and I look at what the cameras are picking up, the lens. I mean, God is pulling them out of there. Thank God for that. But it's a whole sea of people up in there. Rows and rows and whole stacks of all them people on the slave ship, basically. That's what it looked like to me. All them people in there and all their brains being killed. None of their problems are being addressed. None of their sicknesses are being addressed. Their spiritual problems. Men coming in there, the families are out of order. The wives are out of order. The children are out of order. And nobody's really dealing with any of this stuff. And they go back home with the same mess going on. And they basically come inside the church to get that, what do we call it, methadone? They basically get a methadone shot to help them deal with the pain so they can go back home and deal with 6 more days of pain. 6 more days of not having your spirit poured with some righteous water, of unanswered question marks that's in your head. And they're going through all of these terrible things, and their pain is not being addressed. But when they come in, the preacher says, let's jump up and down, let's dance, let's this and that. So they feel good at the moment, just like the disco. When they go home, the problems are still there. Y'all all right? It is when we begin to say, you know what, my questions are not being answered. These sicknesses are still with me. I need to get some answers as to what's going on. And it is at that point we begin to look for solutions. Okay, give me Ecclesiastes 7:7. Ecclesiastes 7:7. Okay, we begin to look for answers.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
The question is, oppression should make everybody mad. Oppression should motivate you to stand up. Read that again.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Oppression doesn't make an ignorant man mad. Understand why it's using the word wise there. An ignorant man, like I was talking about before, if we thought that this was the beginning of our existence and we thought that oppression is our natural state, you wouldn't be mad at it. You wouldn't be mad at all. You would actually think that this is what God made for you. And that's what they've done to us in religion. When they told you in church that you were the children of Ham, and Ham in his mocked his father Noah in his drunkenness, and Noah cursed him, and then they said that he cursed him black. That's what they were teaching. And he was doomed from that day to be a hewer of wood and a drawer of water, meaning a slave. And they would teach the people that. So if you come out of church thinking that that's what God made for you, why would you look for anything else? You would actually think that you are the servant and they're the masters. You would actually walk down the street and you'll see them coming, and they had a law, probably still in their mind, that if you and I are coming towards each other, you got to step off the sidewalk and walk in the gutter. And we did that without question, because many of us were taught that that's what our place was. So if you're thinking that that's what your place is, oppression ain't going to make you mad, because you'll be like, you know what, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be a servant to you. I'm supposed to be oppressed. That's a hell of an indoctrination, ain't it? That's what was done to us. So it is only when you come to the knowledge of knowing that that's not you, and you realize that you do have a heritage, and it's being shown to you, then you'll be like, well, wait a minute. Why am I serving these people? What the hell is this? Then the anger comes in. How did we fall? How did we get here? And it is when you start to go down that road, then you begin to look for solutions. Then you begin to come up with vision. Then you begin to imagine. Then you begin to organize. Then you begin to put your thoughts together. Then you begin to discipline. But if you don't know that you belong in that pot of discipline, you will think that mediocrity and BS is your life, and you'd stay there, and you'll be comfortable with it. You will accept the gift that destroyed your heart, like the rest of the verse say. But if you are a wise man and you know that this is not supposed to be you, can't nobody give you a gift to make you go back to sleep once you know that you're not supposed to be in this predicament. Read it again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man or woman. It's written in a masculine context, but it's meaning on both sides, but mainly the men, because the men are responsible for the nation. Okay? Surely oppression maketh a man with some wisdom. It will make him wise, because he was like, how is it that I am the embodiment and the fruits of wisdom, the fruits of wise people, and I'm living as a bum? That will make you mad. You'll begin to organize your own resources first. You'll begin to organize your own thoughts. Then you'll begin to organize the people around you. Then you'll begin to organize the neighborhood, organize the city, organize the state, organize the country, organize the planet. But if you don't know that wisdom comes from you, you will be happy with the gift that they give you to destroy your mind forever, coming out of the mess that we were put into. Y'all all right? Wise. Let's put up my definition, because the scriptures say, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Okay? So let's look it up. Wise is an adjective. It says having or showing experience, knowledge, and good judgment. That's what a wise man represents. A wise man represents one who has the experience to know how to make decisions, because the experience would tell him what's good and what's bad, because he's been through it. He or she has been through it. That's the experience. The knowledge is the knowledge of knowing that there's a judgment, a good judgment for making the decisions that you make. Our men and our women, we participate in hazardous behavior. We participate in drugs. We participate in illicit sexual acts. All of these things have consequences. Some have severe consequences. But if you had some wisdom, you would say, listen, this body that I got, I'm not abusing it. This body that I got, it's going to be dealt properly, because I have the knowledge of knowing how to deal with this body, because I've checked out how to deal with the body by reading my handbook, the Bible. But people that are not wise, they don't know that this is the book of their fathers. They don't know that this is the book. This is the manual. This is the blueprint that tells us how to live. And without this, we are once again dead. So it is only when we go into this Bible, we begin to intelligently make decisions on how we respond to everything. Your experience, you can use your forefathers' experience. A wise man knows his history. A wise woman knows her history. She knows the history of her foremothers. The brothers know the history of their forefathers. So they'll know not to just walk into things that a blind man would just walk right into, because he does not have that history. He's been taught that his existence began in the Negro factory of America. But us, we know better than that. Can I get a witness? So we're looking at wise. Wise means having or showing experience, having or showing the knowledge. Knowledge. Give me that in Malachi 2 and 7. Knowledge. A wise man will have the knowledge.
Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
So the priest's lips should keep knowledge. Like I was saying earlier, coming up in New York in different areas, I mean, they had it everywhere. I don't mean to talk about New York all the time, but I know this everywhere. You know, hey, brother, what's happening? What you got, brother? You know, help me out, man. What you know, brother? Can you dig it? That's how we be. You understand? Because we looking for that knowledge. Okay? Read that again.
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
So we're going to find out what the knowledge that we're supposed to have as wise people. Not just any knowledge like you hear the people in the street talking about. You hear the winos talking about knowledge. Huh? People on the corner talking about knowledge. No, the knowledge that we're talking about is the knowledge of this Bible. Read.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
The knowledge is the law. So a wise man, not only does he have experience, the experience, he also has the knowledge. He knows the laws. He knows what laws to act by. Here's some man talking about going up your skirt, sister. The law said, thou shalt not prostitute thy daughters. That's one. Thou shalt not commit fornication. All of these things have the filthy communication that we have with some of these brothers out here. You got to shut all of that down, because the knowledge of God will teach you how to do that. But if you don't have that knowledge, you will think that anything is fine. Anybody talk a hole in your head and you think it's okay, because you have no wall of discipline. You're just like an open cottage for anybody to run through. It's a terrible thing when you don't have that knowledge. All right? Read that again.
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Go ahead.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
And the people shall seek the law at the preacher's mouth. That ain't going on in these churches at all. So seek the law at this preacher's mouth. Let's go back to this thing here. Wise.
Wise. Having or showing experience, knowledge, and good judgment.
And good judgment, meaning able to make sound decisions based on experience. You're able to make sound decisions based on the knowledge of good and evil. You know the laws. Well, heritage has all of that in it. When you have your history has the suitcase with all of that information in it, or the encyclopedia. All of that information about how to judge things, how to see things, your perception, your glasses, your corrective lenses is in your history. So whatever situation you walk up upon, you can easily recognize whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, because you have a standard by which you live by. That's where wisdom comes in. Wise. That's my next definition. Sagacious.
Sagacious. Having or showing.
Have anybody ever seen this word before? It's the root word of sagacity. We're going to go into it a little bit. Okay. Like I said, I'm making a point about wise, meaning having wisdom. Having wisdom. And I said wisdom is understood as the ability to call on history and experience to aid you in intelligent decision making. Okay? That's where we are. And that's what we're looking to do. Okay? The decision to continue to allow ourselves or yourself to live below the standard by which the Creator had made us to live in is now in debate. Once you have wisdom, now you begin to question your status. You begin to question your behavior. You begin to put judgment on the things that you do and on the things that you think and on the things that you say. But if you don't have this wisdom, if you don't have this this history, if you don't have this, you don't have anything to measure your today's thoughts against. So it's important to have that. And that's what a wise man will have. And once they have that, they'll know that this is not supposed to be where I'm at. And they will, out of mere pressure, they will not allow themselves to remain in the dunghill when they know they're supposed to be sitting as princes and princesses. You dig it? You're not going to allow yourselves to be defiled by somebody talking slick, because you see yourselves as a temple of God, and you lift yourselves up and you will act that way. But without that knowledge, you will allow yourselves to be anything, because you have no standard by which to correct any kind of behavior. You're just like a reed blowing in the wind. Okay? Sagacious. Having or showing keen mental discernment and good judgment. Shrewd. Shrewd. That's a word. That means they don't play games. You know, people say he's got a shrewd attitude, you know, or he's frugal. That's another word. He's frugal in his non-allowance of foolish talk. He's serious-minded, disciplined. So sagacious, having or showing keen mental discernment and good judgment. Okay? Now, we're going to find out about this because I want to put these two words together because this right here goes into our forefathers. Give me wisdom. Give me the next one. Wisdom. Wisdom. Okay, let's read that.
Wisdom, the quality of having experience.
The quality of having experience. So think about wise, think about sagacious, and think about wisdom. Come on.
Knowledge,
read again.
The quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The quality of being wise.
The quality of being wise. Surely, it says, surely oppression makes a wise man mad. Surely oppression makes a man or a woman of wisdom mad. Surely oppression makes one that has sagacity or that's sagacious in their attitude and how they keep themselves. They'll be upset by allowing themselves to be shunted into mediocrity and non-discipline and late all the time. Stuff like that. That bothers a person of dignity. That bothers a person of uprightness. That bothers a spirit that is sagacious, that's wise. Men of character like that, they can't roll with BS. No. So when you have this kind of thought and you know that this is you and you're sitting in a situation where things are just looking oppressive, what would you do? You say, what tools do I have around me right now that I can begin to organize to fix this? Think about it. Think about it. Everything that you see on this planet is the creation of thought. Can I get a witness? They trained us in this society to not even think on levels like that. I'm going to break it down to you. Can y'all dig it? Everywhere you lay your eyesight, soon as your eyelids open, you're looking at the creation of someone's thought. Because had no one thought about building a building, building a car, a street, a house, clothing, we would be looking at vegetation, dirt, and water. There'd be no chair to sit in. There'd be no clothes to put on your body. I really want y'all to think about how the mind is so powerful that you cannot just allow mediocrity to just mess it up. Where was I at? I was saying something. I almost got sidetracked. Read the last thing again so I can get my thought again. Did I have anything?
Yeah,
wisdom. Yeah, read wisdom again.
Wisdom, the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The quality of being wise. The
quality of being wise. And you see down there it says similar sagacity, intelligence. Okay. Further down, the soundness of an action or decision with regard to the application of experience, like we talked about earlier, with the application of the knowledge of knowing your history, and the good judgment from the laws that you know. Once you have these things, you don't allow yourselves to go to sleep and wallow in the mire of nothingness. No, that's not going to be us. Can I get a witness, sisters? Brothers?
Yes, sir.
Sisters? I almost thought I'd like sisters. Okay, Lord have mercy. Sagacity. Go to my picture, because we were looking at wisdom here. Now I want to get into this. The first picture, hold it. I think I left out something. Before I show this here, go, because I want the people to see where this came from. Go to the Bible Book of Our Fathers. I got to do this, and pull up the cover of the book Josephus, because I want the people to know where I'm getting this from. This is where I'm coming from. I'm coming out of this book. Okay, this was a book that I had for many years, going all back to the old school. Many people that's probably watching this program now familiar with it. They've seen it because we always used to refer to it in certain material in this book. So go to my next page. This is the complete works of Flavius Josephus, first century historian that lived not too far away from the time when Christ walked the earth. Okay. Read the highlighted part up there.
Yes, sir.
At the 2.
At the 2, yes, sir.
Now remember, because I'm going to keep everybody in step of what I'm talking about. I brought up the word, I brought up about wisdom. I brought up about knowledge. Now I want to deal with the word sagacity. And the reason, and that's what made, when I ran across that word, that made me go into this book here, because I remember reading it years ago. Read that.
For whereas the Egyptians were...
So we're reading about our forefather Abraham. That's what this part that we're dealing with here. Go ahead.
For whereas the Egyptians were formerly addicted to different customs and despised one another's sacred and accustomed rites, and were very angry one with another on that account.
Abram, that's Abraham. Abraham, go ahead.
Abram conferred with each of them and confuted the reasoning they made.
Confuted meaning tearing their butts up. He was tearing them up because they didn't know a damn thing.
Confuted the reasoning they made use of everyone for their own practices.
Go ahead.
Demonstrated that such reasonings were vain and void of truth.
Their reasonings of what they were coming up with had no sound doctrine at all. Abraham, so you can understand, came from a long line of sagacity, came from a long line of wisdom, came from a long line of being wise. Read that statement again.
Yes, sir. They made use of everyone for their own practices, demonstrated that such reasoning were vain and void of truth.
Come on.
Whereupon he was admired by them in those conferences.
He was admired. See, when your children go to school, the enemy watches this. And they can tell when you got some sense. They can tell when your children have some sense. That's a whole nother subject. When our young kids, especially our black boys, when they go to the schools, these racist teachers, they see the sparks coming from your son's intelligence. And they said, this guy is going to be a problem to white supremacy. And they begin to start to bring low expectations from him. Because when our children go to school, we want to be everything. And we want the teachers to be able to extract that yearning to be great. But the teachers purposely don't even look at it. It's like a class. It's like a child has his hand up in class all the time, and they never call on him. What do you think that'll do to his spirit? After a while, he won't raise his hand. That's what these racist teachers do. That's what these racist people. That's what this whole society is about. Okay. Read that statement again.
Yes, sir.
It is to kill the aspirations of your children. So when they come into the circles of other people, they immediately notice this one right here. Who's your parents? Where do you come from? You must come from good stock. But we have to find a way to shear that off. Read.
Whereupon he was admired by them in those conferences.
Abraham was admired. Go ahead. This was before his name was changed to Abraham, if y'all seen the word Abram there. Go ahead.
As a very wise man.
As a very wise man. You can't put this man in captivity and oppression and think he's going to be happy with it. With that history behind him. Forget about it. Abraham is supposed to be us. We ain't supposed to be happy with mediocrity. We talk about, many of us that put work into putting this school together. And some of us looking at it and saying, wow, man, this is great. This is beyond my expectations and stuff. And some of us, and I've said this before, some of us may be surprised. I ain't surprised because I know greatness is in you. This don't surprise me. I know who I'm dealing with. And this right here is nothing compared to what you really can do once you get the bullshit out of your head. Can you dig it?
Yes, sir.
Read.
Yes, sir. Whereupon he was admired by them in those conferences as a very wise man.
As a very wise man. Go ahead.
And one of great sagacity.
See that? And one of great sagacity. Let's look that word. Let's go back to sagacity again. and one of great sagacity. This is a wise man. This is a man of wisdom, intelligence, keen mental discernment, good judgment. That's what Abraham represented to these Egyptians. Can you dig it? Let's go back to where we was at, okay? Let's read on.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Whereupon he was admired by them in those conferences.
Just like your children are admired when they go to school. But they don't admire them to encourage them. They admire them to warn their other white supremacy partners. We got to get to this one right here. We got to watch this one. A wise man, a wise woman, seeing this happening, has to know what to do, has to know how to organize, have to know how to work together, know how to pool your resources. Now I remember where I was going. When I was talking about everything where your eyes have laid on, that's what they had to do. Think about it. Everything that you see on this earth comes out of the ground. That means you have to learn how to manipulate and organize the resources in the ground to literally create everything you see. Think about that. And when we see the nations do something, wow, like they did something, and you act like you can't do it. We act like we can't do it. And we just allow ourselves to live a life of debauchery and filth. No. Sagacity doesn't allow that. Wisdom doesn't allow that. Intelligence does not allow that. A righteous man and a woman will not allow that. Like Bishop Kanai says often, he said, you women, you got to make a man pay for this. You're going to give yourself up for nothing. What the hell's wrong with you? You want this? You better do everything the right way. And then I'll be the kind of woman you need me to be. You understand? But no. But if her head ain't right, she go fly her legs wide open and let any Negro drive any kind of truck through it all day long. Don't make no doggone sense. But she got to learn. Can you dig it? All right. Read on in this thing here.
Whereupon he was admired by them in those conferences as a very wise man, and one of great sagacity. Mm-hmm. When he discoursed on any subject,
when he discoursed on any subject, go ahead.
He undertook in this not only in understanding it.
When he discoursed on any subject that he undertook, and this not only in understanding it, but in persuading other men also to assent to him. This means this man was, I know you had it, Nashawn. I was trying to catch up with it. He was so influential. Y'all seen those kinds of kids. Y'all know certain people. They can just come in, and not in a boisterous way, not in a mean way, but they had so much wisdom and sense, you would be inclined to just listen. That's what the scriptures tell you what the young men should do with the elder brothers. The elder people that know will just shut the hell up and let the man listen. You can learn something. That's what these men were doing. They said, wait a minute. We up here confuting with all kinds of the stuff up there, addicted to different customs and despise one another's sacred and the custom rights and all that. Here we going backwards. So here this man comes and shut all our mess down. We're going to shut up and we're going to listen. But because our people don't practice this wisdom that we're talking about, we don't get to this point. All of this is encompassed in vision. You can't talk about formulating any vision to do nothing if the head is still messed up. Y'all all right? Yes, read on.
Yes, sir. He communicated to them arithmetic.
So wait a minute, wait. Right before that, it said when he discoursed, when he had conference on any matter that he undertook, and this only not was he only able to understand it, but he was also able to persuade the other men to see his point of view. So along with this intelligence, this sagacity in character, this wisdom, him being wise, he also communicated to them arithmetic. Damn. How in the hell are you going to build pyramids without arithmetic. Impossible. Abraham brought that thing in there. Can you dig it? Read.
He communicated to them arithmetic and delivered to them the science of astronomy.
He delivered unto them the science. Abraham had all of this. The science of astronomy. Go ahead.
For before Abram came into Egypt,
before Abram came into Egypt, listen.
They were unacquainted with those parts of learning.
Math, what the hell is that? Astronomy, what the hell is that? They babbling over custom rights and all of that. Abram hooked them up. Go ahead. They were unacquainted with those parts of learning. Come on.
For that science came from the Chaldeans into Egypt.
Because that's how Abraham traveled. Okay, the Fertile Crescent and all that. That's what it's talking about here. Abram went through all of that. That was talking about the Israelites. Well, we weren't a nation of Israel then, but that came from the good seed of Adam. Seth, Arphaxad, all those when you check the lineage. Okay. So he said what? Read on. He said, for that science came from the Chaldees into Egypt.
And from thence to the Greeks also.
And from thence it went to the Greeks. So wait a minute now. What you talking about? The white folks is the beginning of civilization when they even learned it from the Egyptians. And Abraham taught them. When the Bible says that Israel is the former of all things, it means that. Okay? So having that knowledge in your spirit will not allow you to debase yourself in filth. Knowing that. Y'all all right? So how do we fall away? How do we fall away? Give me Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. How do we fall away from this good wisdom? How do we fall away from this sagacity? How do we fall away from this intelligence? Because we had it. We had it.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
That's where we at now. You might as well say the dead man. Because we're dead. This scripture here shows you how dead we are. God gives credit to an ox, a stubborn animal. God gives credit to the ox for knowing his line of sagacious thinking. I put it like that. There's a certain level of wisdom that an ox has to know, as dumb as it is. Read that again.
The ox knoweth his owner.
The ox knoweth his owner.
And the ass his master's crib.
And the jackass knows where his land is at.
But Israel.
But the dead Israelites.
Does not know.
They don't know where their power is. They don't know their history beyond the factory of America that made them. That's some stuff. That sister put that book out called the 1619 Project. Boy, they got mad. They're talking about the CRT, critical, quote unquote, critical race theory. They're trying to get rid of all of that because that might spark some wake up. You know what? There was a video that Bishop had sent to us, and it was a TikTok video. Very important. I think I have to send this thing because it shows you the importance of knowing your history. I got to do it. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Who's going to put something in the microphone that ain't going to make me go crazy while I look for this thing?
Hey. Yeah, what Bishop was bringing out, and for me, I was listening and following him, and I could see that he talking about great men. And then I began to look, and he was talking about they had wisdom. So I was doing some study this week, but I noticed that the men that I was looking at, that even I was looking at revolts. When you seen men that start a revolt and go against the norm, and like Vesey, like Nat Turner, how they would organize the people for a cause. And in those calls, you know, it was in captivity, but they knew what they had to do in terms of getting the people together. So it was huge when I was looking at it, because what I was able to discover that it's a lot of black pain or things that we go through, and they wasn't tolerating it. Today's people that's here, everybody's comfortable with it. It's acceptable to accept black pain with knees across your neck. That's not acceptable. But here today, we have to understand that there has to be a revolt for us. Even though we're waking up, but we have to revolt against the things that we know that transgress God's laws. So for us, it's important for us to have a mindset that we, like our fathers, Abraham, and even men that like this, Denmark Vesey, even Nat Turner them had the mindset to gather the people to fight against things. And we got to be a people like that, Captain Josiah, as well.
And just to add what Captain Dakar was bringing out, you know, what examples do we have? What true examples do we have that we can look up to? All right? It's not the football players, it's not the movie stars, it's not the rappers, okay? It's the biblical history that we have of our forefathers that stands out like never before. Am I right, brothers? Yes, y'all never saw this in school. You weren't taught this in school. You've been taught this now. Likewise, we are, and it's at a whole nother level that we can really see ourselves, our people, as something great. Am I right? What about y'all, sisters? All praise to the Most High. Go ahead, Bishop.
All right, you got it? I just sent it to you. Check on the broadcasting channel. You got it? Now I want to set this up. I was making a point about the sister that brought the history 1619, and then they talk about the CRT, and there's such a controversy. They don't want our people to know the history. So I'm going to play this clip. Play this thing. I guess, do we have to get disclaimers and all that? I guess we do, right? Yeah, go ahead, hit it. No. You got to get the beginning of it. It was something what he said. Let's try it again.
Show me, go pick my cottons that way.
Go pick my cotton. My fields are that way. That's basically what he's saying. The sister heard that, and she reacted, poof. She just went off because the pain of knowing her history, the pain of knowing what happened to our people, and to hear this devil say this. You're a hate group. They tell us we're a hate group. But what about this vermin that said that? His behind need to be hung up with barbed wire as a noose. Okay? So he told the sister, go pick my cotton, it's that way. I don't know what precipitated this, but these people feel that they can say anything to us because we don't know our history. But the question of why I brought this up, what if she did not know her history? What if she did not know that we were in slavery? Because they're trying to take that out of the schools. What if she didn't know? Because they talk about CRT and, the critical race theory and 1619 Project is racist and all that. If she had not known nothing about what she'd been through, this dude would be saying this stuff and it'd be going all over her head. Meanwhile, people around her is setting her up because everybody else would know, but she won't know. So it's important for us to know what happened to us. And you see what happened when she know it. Play that video. Roll that beautiful bean footage. But this is something, I'll say this here. I'm going to play it, then I'm going to make a statement. Because Bishop Kanai has been saying something for a minute now. And I think it's just starting to catch on with certain people that might be listening. Hit it.
Show me, go pick my cottons that way.
Now we will be, quote unquote, chastised in the media for playing this or for bringing it up. But how come there's no chastisement on the man that caused the offense? This is Babylon the Great. You merely fighting people to keep them from killing you. You're the one that's at wrong. You're supposed to suffer peacefully, let people beat the hell out of you and all of that, and let them do this here. But we know that that's not supposed to be the deal. Brothers and sisters, you don't allow people to abuse you on no front. Don't give a damn who they are. I know I ain't. Forget that. But the point that I was going to mention about what Bishop Kanai has been saying, because this right here would get, this is on a TikTok video. You might see this on a few YouTubes and all that. This thing might go viral. But where is the man? You don't see the anger of the black man at all. Only thing you see him is with a grandmama, with a damn dress on, with a big basketball. What was that? What was that basketball player? Shaq. You see that? Yeah. All these. You see our men feminized, in the back, scared. The woman is out front. She got to fight for not only her, but she got to fight for the black man who was in those cotton fields. And this gets promoted. Black men in the back silent. That's a slur on our manhood. The least we should be able to do is organize. Here I saw a comment on this same video. Brother said, our queens should not have to go through this. I was like, what the hell is this? Our queens, that's game talk. Oh, I'm a queen. Why the hell is she going through that? Because black men ain't about SH. But he said, our queen should not have to go through this. Okay, the question is, what you gonna do? Are you gonna organize, or are you gonna stay right here and allow this to continue? When that, what was that, Chinese man or the Japanese man that got beat up on the airplane? Remember that? Yeah, they drug him off. They drugged him off. They grabbed him. He recorded it. He made sure that the glasses got all twisted up. Huh? He said, I suffered a great ass whooping. Huh? Made it extra. And they were going to shut the airlines down because that one man had his whole nation. What country was he from? Was it China? It was China, right? Wasn't Japan. It was China, right? Can somebody help me out? I don't remember. Was it China? Huh? Okay. All China would have backed him up. All China would have said, you know what? Why you doing this to our one man? We get ready to shut down. No more Sony. Well, that's Japanese. No more your socks made in China. No more your pajamas, pants, all of the stuff. They would mess things up because they believe in supporting one another. They believe in backing up one another. That's what we have to do. That's what the scriptures meant when it says, come together. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. We're the ones that's supposed to have that attitude more than everybody else. We're the ones that's undesired. That's supposed to be us. Where am I at? Okay, that's enough of that, brothers. Y'all had something?
Yeah, we got video, Bishop.
Come on.
Bishop sent. Y'all got that video? All right, bring it up.
Shout out to the Bishop Nathaniel. That was Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop
Nathaniel, yes, sir.
All right, all praise to the Most High.
Shalom, Bishop.
This right here is a video. Well, I guess we go. It's a white student throws cotton and whips black students. Let's back it up again. I was talking. Okay. Get up. Damn. What the hell? No, man. What? How in the world you do? Well, you know the reason why he's bold? Because he knows all his white folks is behind him. Black people will be standing by and will watch that go down and be like, damn, that's terrible. Like I said, 5 people can wipe out 1 million if they can knock you out one by one. Think about that. Malcolm X said it. He said, how is it that 4/5 of the world is dark and 1/5 is ruling, dominating, exploiting, taking the whole cake, kit, caboodle, everything, and robbing the 4/5 that are in the majority? How do they do it? Divide and conquer. That's what you're looking at on this video. He's attacking one black brother. You got other black people there sitting there with this me, myself, and I stupidness. Well, that ain't me. Nigga, that is you. Right. But they felt like we divide him up. We deal with him. Tell the rest of the niggas in his mind, in their mind, y'all stay out of it. This is between us white folks and him. I'm just dramatizing the thought pattern. That's how it goes. We got some serious wake up to do. That was an excellent video, Bishop Nathaniel. All praise to the Most High. All praises. That was some good stuff right there. All right, let's get back to where we was at. I'm bringing out these points.
Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
God says that the ox knows his owner.
And the ass his master's crib.
And the jackass knows where his land is at. Well, the Lord is saying that these two animals have more history about themselves than you do, than we do. And we're comfortable with it. I'm just going to make it plain. Read.
But Israel does not know.
But the Israelites that was made in this Negro factory, that where this Edomite can just come up and start beating on him with a belt, throwing cotton at him. Lord have mercy. Because somebody will say, well, I know he getting ready to say something where we could say we're advocating violence. You understand? But there's a time for an ass whooping. Let's get that in the scriptures, man. You ain't gonna get no Reverend Johnson Christianity out of me. Give me that Bible. Give me Ecclesiastes 3. Shoot. Somebody throwing cotton balls and hitting you with a belt. It's time to knock his teeth out. Put his jaw in the back of his head. Chew from the back. The hell is this?
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8.
Come on.
A time to love.
A time to love.
And a time to hate.
The Christian church would have said that's the time to love. You getting the hell beat out of you, they tell us some love your enemies. No. That's the time to get away from the wolf. Beat the wolf's ass, then get the hell out of there. Read that again.
A time to love.
A time to love. And ho. Why we don't do this with each other? A time to love. If I'm going to come to my sister, dig it now. My sister might not have had the greatest upbringing in terms of a father. I'm going to go deep on you. She might not have had a father that really taught her how to deal with her body and the rest of it and how to upkeep herself and not just allow people to just run through her. Can you dig it? I, as a brother, like, you know what? This sister, she could be a good sister one day. But she just needs some work. But I ain't going to take advantage of her. I'm going to deal with her from a distance and school her to let her know that I ain't going to call her a queen like these brothers, slick brothers, just to knock them down. Knock them up, I should say. Huh? No. You're supposed to see the value in that sister. And say, you know what? You could be a great mother. You can bring forth righteousness in this earth, sister. You ain't got to be talking about some, oh, I'm pregnant. Where's the man? You got to be none of that. You could be the brother that show her the goodness, show her sagacity, show her intelligence. Wake her up. That's the love of what we should be doing here. Read that again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8. A time to love.
A time to love your people. Try to get your people to see things like Abraham did. Confute them with them tearing their butts up, talking about the Egyptians. Correcting them, and he had the ability to win them to see his point of view. That's how we have to be with each other. Correct them, fix them up. Because you see there's a greater need. We as men, we really have a heavy responsibility. You realize that there's no species on this earth that's more than you? That's it. Man, then everything is beneath you. This whole planet is run by men. If you are in the species of being a man, why would you hand that job off to somebody else when the buck stops with you? That's how we have to be. Read.
In a time to hate.
In a time to hate. The time to hate is to use intelligence to say, these people that's up there saying, throwing cotton balls at me, this man wishes me death. This man don't give a damn about my emotions. Don't give a damn about my confidence in myself. Don't give a damn about the psychological problems and the trauma that I went through, that my forefathers went through, that he's going to say something like this here. There's a such thing as what they call it, an emotional physical response, meaning ass whooping, that just comes out of nowhere. Where the ass whooping is so good, the person says, y'all stop beating me. Huh? Let them wounds teach them a lesson. Y'all all right? All right, I'm going to lean back and get off this subject. But they say, Harvey, find a way to shut him down. Read.
A time of war.
A time of war.
And a time of peace.
A time of peace. The scriptures say, come out from among them. What in the world are we trying to join hands with these people for? And they only mean our total death. Yes, we have to, what the scriptures say, if it be possible, let us live at peace with all men. So we're not about advocating any kind of violence or anything. And you get to the point where you say, why in hell do we have to keep saying this? Because we're dealing with a crooked system. When a victim has to say he's not about violence. The victim of violence have to say they're not about violence. The victims of hate have to say that they're not a hate group. Can you dig it? We live in a whole globe, a global web, a whole system that is designed to destroy us and to exploit us and to use us for nothing but fuel to keep this system going. That is it. That's the only desire they have for us. And if we say we don't want that, and we believe in self-preservation. We believe in protecting our nation. We believe in protecting our brothers and sisters, our women, our wives. And you say you're a hate group when a snake comes to bite them and you kill the snake. You're a hate. You should have left the snake alone and let it bite your children. That's some stuff there. That's some Christianity dope, the real dope. I don't think no drug dealer ever sold dope as potent as Christianity. They want that. They wish they could pack that up, sell that on the corner. Well, hell, they ain't got to sell it on the corner. Every crack house, church, they got like 10 crack houses, churches on every street. So you can get your dope right there. Go in there, get your methadone, and go for the next 6 weeks, go through hell, white man kicking you in the ass, all kind of problems at home. By the time Sunday comes, you're worn out and you need another fix. When you come into the church, they give you the methadone and you dancing and shouting. So what did you learn in church? I don't know, but it sure felt good. That's all Christianity is. That's the dope man. Read. Give me that Bible. Go back to that Bible, man.
Isaiah.
And move on in my lesson. Shoot.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel does not know.
But the Israelites don't know who they are. They don't know their history. They don't know anything about themselves. Because they believe, our people believe that this is the genesis of their existence. Oh, we talk about Africa. I'm red, black, and green, Egyptos, and all this garbage. They don't know nothing about the history. But in reality, the white man say, yeah, give them books on Egypt. Give them that. Make them feel that they are Hotep brothers. All that BS. But the mentality is still from the factory of this damn place called America. They all act the same way. Just talk slick on the internet. But in terms of them really doing anything to really offset this white supremacy, nothing. Because they ain't coming out of the Bible. Read.
My people does not consider.
That's my people does not consider, because they don't even know why they should consider, because they have no history. They have no foreknowledge. They have no sagacity, no wisdom, no nothing that points to the great past like Abraham had. They don't have that. They believe, our people believe that this is their existence. That's the reason why that white boy came up there and dealt that to the brother, because he felt like, you're a Negro that my fathers made. And you're my servant. I'm walking on the sidewalk, jump off the sidewalk because master's coming. And they actually think that way. But we have nothing to offset that, because we're not coming out of our book. We're not coming from the root of our sagacity, of our intelligence, of our wisdom, in being wise to know how to discern good and evil, to be wise to know how to discern righteousness from wickedness. Our history teaches us that. These laws, this knowledge teaches us that. But we have to stand up like real men and harness that. And as we harness that, then we look out and we see the problems with our people. And we cry out to them, trying to wake them up. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? Only the prophets, only the people that's about this Bible could take this Bible and wake up those dead bones. Wake up those dry bones. Wake up those Israelites that's in the city, in the great city that is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. It is this life that's going to wake them up. And that's, once we wake up, then we can wake our people up. We are that light that shineth in a dark place, brothers and you sisters. That's how this thing goes. Read
verse 4. A sinful nation.
So our people don't consider, the third verse I was looking at. But Israel does not know, my people does not even consider. Then the scriptures say, sinful nation. That's us. We are the nation of Israel. Sinful nation. Come on.
A people laden with iniquity.
A people covered up with sin. Laden, like pressed down. Like as a tarp of evil on us. Laden. Go ahead. Shaped in iniquity. Go ahead.
A seed of evildoers.
A seed of evildoers. Meaning, because we teach this evil to our children.
Children that are corrupters.
Children come out like these kids are today. Corrupters. Nasty as hell. Filthy as hell. Doing all kinds of wickedness. Parent trying to bring some direction, and they finding every way to get away from your rule. Trying to find a way to get away from your responsible watch over them. Trying to duck and get around your discipline, your protection, your hedge. I'll put it that way. They're trying to get out of your hedge to protect them. They're trying to find every way to get out of it. That's what shepherds do. Shepherds have to keep the sheep in the fold so that the wolves don't destroy them. Our children trying to get out of that and go play with the wolves and get torn up. Read that statement again. Sinful nation.
Sinful nation. A people laden with sin, iniquity. A seed of evildoers.
A seed of evildoers. Go ahead.
Children that are corrupters.
Children that are corruptors. Our children are wise to do evil. I see some of the evil that some of these young brothers and young girls in these apps, wise to do evil. They know how to go all in the thing and hide all kinds of evil in it, and it'll take a computer scientist to even get through layer 1. But what are they doing in terms of righteousness? Nothing. They're going to end up as another statistical blip, pregnant. I'm talking about the women. Pregnant, been 4 or 5 brothers been and ran through them. This keeps the evil going on. Our sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. Go ahead.
They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger.
Go ahead.
They are gone away backwards.
They are gone away backwards. They are gone away backwards. Not stagnant. They're not staying still. If you're not moving forward, you are going backwards. We are literally destroying ourselves by not progressing to righteousness. Ain't no such thing as, well, I don't want to read the Bible, I don't want to follow those laws, and think you're going to stay in the same condition where you're at. Evil is going to overtake you and pull you into the negative. There is no stagnation. You leave anything sitting, and you think it's stagnant. And bacteria, meaning bad spirits and bad thoughts, will begin to intercede into your thinking and will pull you into the dirt. Just like this glass of tea here that's sitting here. You leave that there for a number of years and see would it be tea later on, even though it's sitting here in terms of it being stagnant, as you would call it. But bacteria, microbes, things will begin to erode the quality of your thinking. I'm going back to our thoughts. Bad thoughts. If you're not filling your mind with righteousness, your mind will become the bed for wicked thoughts. It will take the place of righteousness. Evil will find your spirit swept and garnished empty, and it will begin to fill the seats in your mind and take you into filth. So we have to continue to always push forward into righteousness to keep us from believing that we are stagnant, when in reality you're actually going into reverse, going backwards. That's why the Bible says that. Read that statement again. They have provoked
the Holy One of Israel into anger.
Go ahead.
They are gone away backward.
Our people are going to end up going backwards if they're not fighting, if they're not putting forth and investing in the vision to go forward. You will go backwards. There's no doubt about it. You leave anything unmaintained and see what happens to it. Y'all remember that class I did, spiritual maintenance? This is what I'm talking about. If you don't maintain your spirit to go forward, you will go backwards. You leave anything alone for a certain period of time, and evil will begin to erode it and destroy it. You're talking about something, I don't have to keep this house clean. I don't have to keep this building clean. I don't have to keep dust off of this and keep this on. I don't have to do that. We cleaned it up last year, and it'll be fine. You come in there a year later, you ain't got no building no more. That's what happens to us in the spirit. Read.
Why should ye be stricken anymore?
How long must an ass whooping endure? Why should you be stricken anymore? How long will the white boy come up and say, get in my fields, nigga? Right. Playing at school. They said, we don't want you to learn nothing about what they call critical race theory, meaning your history. They don't want to talk about the 1619. They damn sure don't want you to talk about the Bible. They don't want you to talk about Deuteronomy 28. They're trying to get rid of that completely. Think about it. Our enemy said, take Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the 68th verse, because that's the verse that's waking them up. That's how they talk. That's the verse that's waking them up. Oh, what you going to do? Oh, we got to come up with a new version and say that you will offer yourselves, but no one will buy you. You looking at what shit? I went to school. I know how to read something. That don't make sense. Then you find the real translation, and you realize these people are the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. But they don't want us to get any of that at all. Read.
Why should ye be stricken anymore?
Why should you be stricken anymore? How much psychological abuse do we have to take? How much physical abuse do we have to take? How much exploitation do we have to take? How much do we have to continue to allow our nation to go to hell? How long? And who would you look to fix it? Here we are as men, and we say, well, somebody come fix my problem. What the hell you mean somebody? You! Talk about somebody. Big burly man talking about something, why won't he do something for me? What the hell are you talking about? You sitting there with your big back. Don't make no doggone sense. And a woman looking at you, she said, damn, what the hell, I got to fight my own battles. The white man says, go pick my cotton. She has to move past the laying down Negro, talking about you a queen. He said, well, okay, I'll be queen, but you lay your lazy ass down there and let me go deal with this monster that just insulted me by telling me to go in his fields and pick cotton. The woman. This is what Bishop Kanai was talking about. He said the man is always in the back scared, and the woman, like we saw in the court thing last week, that woman tore the damn place up. She was angry. Where's the black man's anger? He's passive. He's church fried. Church is fried Negro. Church is fried chicken, right? Church is fried Negro. Fried, died, and laid to the side doing nothing. Read, man.
Ye will revolt more and more.
Ye will revolt more and more. We revolt against correction. We revolt against vision. We revolt against, we have a hard time with it. Parents trying to get their children to go right. And they tie themselves up in total enemy behavior. That's going to do nothing but destroy them, just like it destroyed hundreds of women and hundreds of brothers in the same community. They're going down the same path. Here, we're trying to make a change because we had enough fortitude to look at our condition and to understand where we came from and say, let us organize what we have. Just the same way you'll see a man walk out into a field. He said, I'm going to build a building here. There ain't no building there, no nothing. But he would have to organize and think, get his thoughts together and say, what will it take to build what I see in my mind? This becomes reality. Everything that you see here, even us, we look at this table here, okay? This table was in the imagination first before it existed physically. Think about that. I'm just using that as an example. What you see with all around this room and all throughout what we've did, this was a thought first before it became reality. Well, that's how we have to deal with everything that we do. Don't be afraid. Turn on that brain. Turn on that thinking. God gave it to you. Use it. Read.
The whole head is sick.
But the leadership among our people is sick because they've been church fried. And the people trying to learn from them dried up with thirst. And because of that, hell has enlarged herself without measure. Talking about Isaiah 5:13 and 14. That's the scriptures that I'm quoting. Read.
And the whole heart faint.
And the whole mind is faint, is nothing, dead. Go ahead.
From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it.
There is no wisdom in it. Come on.
But wounds and bruises.
But wounds and bruises. Well, you know what the wounds are? Go inside your communities. Those are the wounds. Brothers, drugged up, busted. Sisters, bust up. Whole house full of kids, no husband. Go down to the welfare office and get treated like complete trash. Sons all running wild. Where's my daddy at? The other one said, well, I don't know where your daddy is. Where my daddy at? They got different daddies. All that soars in the community. And we're comfortable with this. How in the world could a man be comfortable? How could real men be comfortable with this? How could you call yourself a man and be comfortable with seeing this? How could that be? How could you be okay with this? How could you be all right with this? Surely oppression makes me mad as hell. What about you? How could you be okay seeing your people like this? When you know your history, when you know where you came from, how could you be okay with it? Look like you're holding something there. We get it. Read on.
And putrefying sores, they have not been closed.
Putrefying sores. You can correlate that to drugs. You can correlate that to diseases, gout, bad eating habits, obesity, transmission diseases, COVID. Hell. They engineered that for us. There's too many of y'all. Just like they look at our children in the schools, there's too many of you. You know, what? This might look like you're going to start some trouble. And they talk like that. Read. What verse you in?
The bottom of verse 6, sir.
Read. Come on.
They have not been closed, neither bound up.
The preachers have not dealt with your sickness. The preachers have not went into the gaps to repair and heal the minds of the people. Tens of thousands are sitting in these churches. And that preacher got the Bible. And he ain't trying to heal these people with the word of God. You're telling them there's some Gentiles. Okay, well, what Gentiles am I? The Bible has a whole table of nations in there. Which one do I come from? They said, hey, that's Satan answered. That's Satan that asked that question. Throw him out the church. Jesus is black. I read it in my Bible. Oh, you got the devil on you. Get out of here. Threw the man out. Go ahead.
Neither mollified with ointment.
Neither did they bring ointment to help us. Pour the oil on us to fill that empty head, that hole, that gaping hole in his head. Read.
Your country is desolate.
So now the Lord is saying, listen, don't you know that your country that you came from is desolate? Because you're not there. You're in captivity now. Your country is desolate. Go ahead.
Your cities are burnt with fire.
Your cities are burnt with fire. So we have no home. The ox knoweth his owner. The jackass knows where his land is at. We don't even consider that our land was destroyed. We don't even consider that we are exiled from where we belong. We've gotten comfortable in this. Come on.
Your land, strangers devour it.
Your land, bastards dwell in it. Read it again.
Your land, strangers devour it in your presence.
Read it again.
Your country is desolate. Your cities are burnt with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence.
The strangers, bastards, devour it in your presence. Oh, wait a minute. We need to shut him down because he's saying bastards. The Bible don't say that. Zechariah 9 and 6. Zechariah 9 and 6.
Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 6. And a bastard should dwell in Ashdod.
And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Ashdod is modern day Tel Aviv, which is in Israel. Go back to the scriptures. We don't need to read no more. That's all we needed. We just want that word bastard so that people can't say that I'm starting trouble.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 7.
You're instigating. You're a troublemaker.
Your country is desolate.
Our country is desolate.
Your cities are burnt with fire.
Our cities are burnt with fire. We don't even recognize it anymore. Our history is burned up. Everything is burned up. Go ahead.
Your land, strangers devour it in your presence.
Our land, strangers devour it in our presence. Go ahead.
And it is desolate.
And it is desolate.
As overthrown by strangers.
But it's overthrown by these so-called Jews. That's what it's talking about, because they're not the Jews. My lesson further down going to just completely prove it. Let me show you how racist this society is against you and me. Come on. I'm going to speed it up because I want to get to these points.
Yes, sir. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage.
And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage. Damn. So this is actually talking about the whole nation of Israel. Everybody is basically exploiting the hell out of us. I'm just use it that way before I say something different. They're basically just using us up. Go ahead. Read that again.
And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard.
Go ahead.
As a lodge in the garden
of... As a lodge.
A lodge in the garden of cucumbers.
Go ahead.
As a besieged city.
As a besieged city. So that's how we just left for everybody to just run amok. Come on.
Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant.
This is what we were getting to when we talk about vision. This very small remnant, except the Lord what?
Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
So if the Most High did not have the 144,000 brothers that's coming back in the earth now, that's saying that we ain't going for the bullshit. Okay, we're going to go by this Bible. We're going to set up order. We're going to employ faith, and we're going to press toward the mark. We're going to press towards the kingdom. That's what this group is going to do. Y'all all right? We're not going to accept mediocrity. We're not going to accept excuses talking about I can't this, I can't that. Like I say often, the reason why you were created, God caused you to be born as opposed to somebody else. Think about that. Give me that Jeremiah. Just get that point there. 'Cause I'm talking about how you have to wake up. Our people have to wake up. Jeremiah 1 and 5. I'm making a point about all of us have a purpose. You're not just here.
Jeremiah
1 and 5.
chapter 1 and verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly.
Before God said, he's speaking to Jeremiah, he said, before I formed you, Jeremiah, before the sperm met the egg. How many sperm trying to get to that egg and that female? Talk to me. Huh? About millions and millions. All trying to get there. There's decisions being made in the heavens that's going to say which one out of those millions I'm going to allow to be born. And you women talk about aborting children. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Read it again.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
And before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. Before I caused that sperm to meet that egg, to cause you to be born out of millions. What did he say?
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
I knew you. So every one of you that made it past the millions, he held all of them back so that you could be born. He held all the rest of the sperm, the spirits, so you can understand. He held all of the other spirits back. He said, because I want you. I want you. I want you to be born. How the hell are we going to get up here and act like we're nothing? Read that again.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
God says he knew you. Go ahead.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb.
And before you came out of your mother's womb, God knew you. Talking about it ain't a fetus yet, I can abort it. The decision was made before the sperm even got in there. When that sperm met the egg, the angel says, send this spirit in there to bring him out, to bring her out. Go ahead.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee.
I sanctified you.
And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
And I ordained you a prophet unto the nation, you men. And these women are supposed to have that respect about you, and they're supposed to have a respect about themselves. You let somebody talk trash to you for what? You know what I went through to get here? That's how you're supposed to talk. All of the spirits that my spirit was battling, all the millions of spirits trying to be born, but the Lord said, I want you in there. Then you're going to come out here and talk about some woe is me. These sick preachers, they should have been cleared our people's heads up. Got them thinking that they're nothing. Sitting up there serving white supremacy. Come on, man. Where am I at?
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
So, the Lord had to set up a remnant that ain't going for the BS. And with this remnant, we're going to employ the vision, and we're going to use faith to back us. That's going to give us the driving, fighting force to keep going, because we have the faith of our forefathers behind us, like Abraham, like Noah, like David. These men, these mighty men. We have these as our examples. Give me the book of 1 Maccabees 2. Because it's something that we have to realize. The question is, what is it that all other nations and even animals and even insects like the ant What is it that they practice that we don't? That we don't do as a collective, I should say. We don't have organized unity. The insects have organized unity. You go out there and hit one of those wasp nests that be hanging on these trees and buildings and all that. Ain't one gonna sting you. The whole house gonna tear your behind up. I ain't never got stung by one because I have enough sense to stay the hell away from that thing. Huh? The Bible taught me that. There's a time to love a hornet's nest, and there's a time to hate a hornet's nest. Stay away from that thing. You go up there, hit it. Preacher said, love your enemies. You're behind going straight to the hospital. Where am I? First Maccabees 2 verse 48. We're going to read 48 down.
Yes,
now,
sir.
what am I talking about? Why am I doing this? Okay. As a collective, get my thoughts together. These men, these 144,000 men, because this is our job, we have the job of organizing the talents, organizing the people. Just like when they wanted to build whatever they built in the society, they had to organize resources and put them in the proper array, put them in the proper order so that the structure can be built. Like when we built things in here, there were certain materials that we had to get, certain types of screws, nails, glue, whatever it took. Had to assess the people's talents. Who has the talent to do this? Sisters, who have the talents to do that? Brothers, who have the talent to do that? Sisters, who have the talent to do this? We had to assess and organize the people's gifts. You have a vision, and then you organize the resources so that it can be built. That's what we're about to read here. In short, there's a lot of verses here, but the essence of what I'm going to bring out here is to show that there had to be a mind to know how to set up certain things in certain areas. Y'all all right? Let's read it. Now we're going to read about our forefather Mattathias, okay, coming out of the when the temple was ransacked by the Greeks, and we're dealing with that now, okay? And this was a time when the Greeks came against the holy city and destroyed our temple. Our forefather, like Mattathias, rose up, and he had to access or to assess the ability of his sons. He knew their strengths. He organized his sons to operate in battle according to their ability. He himself relied on the examples of faith demonstrated by our fathers in their time of distress. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And he's going to use that faith. He's going to use the wisdom and the knowledge of the forefathers to help him encourage what's happening at this moment. Let's start reading. 48.
First Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 48.
This was right before we rededicated the temple. That's what this history is going into. It was after the Greeks had besieged it. Come on.
So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles.
We had to get our Bible back. Had to get our records back. Go ahead.
And out of the hand of kings.
Go ahead.
Neither suffered they the sinner to triumph.
We ain't allow people to keep committing sin. No, we ain't allow none of that because we were serious. Go ahead.
Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now have pride and rebuke gotten strength in the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation.
Go ahead.
Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law.
Be ye zealous for the law. Come on.
And give your lives for the covenant
and
of
give your lives for the covenant. And that's what we do. We have to give our lives because what are you going to do? You're going to either live on your knees or we're going to die on our feet. How in the world you can be happy living as a slave? That's a spiritual killer. especially when you know better. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, mad enough to not allow this to be the case. Organize. We ain't telling nobody to pick up no guns and bombs and none of that. God gonna take care of that. Thank the Lord for that. And I'm gonna be glad when he do too. Read.
Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers.
Come on.
Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time.
Here we go. Call what?
Call to remembrance.
Call to remembrance. Well, if the Negro don't know, how's he going to call to remembrance? Only thing he remembers is the factory that he was made in America. They say CRT, no, get rid of that, because they don't want you to know nothing about your history. Get rid of 1619, the history that surrounds that, get rid of that. Get rid of Deuteronomy the 28. They're trying to shear off our whole background. Think about this here. I've been wanting to say this for a minute. Here we are as a captive people, where you have a vicious, vermin, virulent beast over us that robbed us of our history and takes control of our future. What does that do for us? That locks us into the immediate present. That's the recipe for a perfect consumer. That's the reason why we could spend billions and billions of dollars a year, every year on Christmas, because we have no hope, because our vision to look forward is managed by our oppressor. So you can't even imagine nothing beyond your immediate sight. So why invest? Why build? Why try to keep this together? Well, we ain't going to be here till tomorrow. Why try to work together and hope, envision, and hope for the future? Do something for your babies. Do something for your brothers and sisters. Well, if you got a people that's saying no, you don't have any kind of dictates in terms of what you're going to do in the future, because I'm taking credit for all of that. So you can stop thinking about that. So you just stay right here in the presence. Here's some Nike sneakers. Here's some rims. Just live it up. Here's some dope. Just be happy right where you are. I can't go back because you took my pants from me. So I'm just locked as a perfect consumer. And every dollar I get, I'm going to waste it frivolously, because I have no goal. I have no desire. I have no plan. I can't think. I can't envision. Architecture, building, what? For what? Call a white man. Me plan? Plan for what? Man, I'm just happy sitting here on my rims and my Timbs and my rims and, you know, and my dope and my alcohol. Give me some weed. That's it. That's us. We got to shake the bullshit. That's what's happening here. That's what we're talking about. Read that statement again.
Verse 50. Verse 51.
Yeah.
Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time.
So we have to know what our fathers did in order to act upon it. Well, if this beast is trying to shear off my history, how am I going to look back? Don't you realize that that's an act of war on your whole existence? To take away your history is to kill you. Oh, he's inciting a riot up there. That's what they'll say. They'll call this hate speech. Meanwhile, we're the victims of every kind of hate you can think of. Read it again.
Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time.
In their time of distress, in their time of tribulation. Come on.
So shall ye receive great honor.
So if you have this remembrance, it will employ you. It will cause you to act in wisdom. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Well, when wise men get mad, they organize. They put together. They envision. They plan. They direct. They instill discipline and direction. That's what they do. When wise men get mad, when wise men realize that the oppression is on my back, what am I going to do? I'm going to employ what God gave me. That's what I'm going to do. Because I'm not here by an accident. I'm here because God put me here. I'm not going to just sit here and just wither away to the whims and whims of white supremacy. No. Read that again.
So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name.
So if we rely on our history, if we rely on our background, on what our fathers did, the vision that they had, that's what it said earlier in the definition. They have experience. That word was there. It said that one of sagacity employs experience, knowledge. It mentioned those things. Well, experience comes from your history. You yourself don't have to physically experience if you know how to operate as a nation. I used to listen to this program in New York called, well, it was during the rap era, Mr. Magic's Rap Attack. How many of y'all know what I'm talking about? Even the tapes even came down here at times. I've seen it. I've heard them. Okay? At the end of his program, he would say that any man or woman could learn from the mistakes, could learn from their own mistakes. But it takes a wise man or a wise girl like you to learn from the mistakes made by others. That's what we're talking about here. Your experience, you can read about the experiences and the mistakes that your people made. Why in the hell do we have to be doomed to repeat it over and over again when we can look at history and say, well, my fathers taught me to not do it that way. But when someone cuts your history off and you allow it, that means that you will go through the bear trap, not realizing that your fathers already went through that. And you can learn not to do that. Learn from the mistakes made by others. And then they give you a record. Son, don't do this. Daughter, don't do this here. It boggles my mind. I'm going to say something concerning these women. It boggles my mind how women have daughters and they know the crap that they went through. And they don't teach their daughters a damn thing. You're going to allow your daughter to go through the same shit that you went through. Because you don't have the fortitude to sit them down and tell them how it really is. That thing really bothers me. Same thing with our brothers. You got sons. You see your sons struggling in certain things. And you know yourself that you went through the stuff. And you won't tell your son nothing. And you allow him to go through the same crap that you went through and end up dead or in jail. Read that again, man, to get my mind back on this thing.
Yes, sir. First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 51. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name.
So that you will receive honor and an everlasting name of righteousness, because that's what's going to happen when you at least employ the experiences of your fathers and of your mothers. Use their experiences to help you make a better decision today. Use your father's experiences so that you can make a better decision today. I used to always wonder. I came up with heroin ravished Harlem. Crack. All that. And I ain't seen nobody graduate off of crack and become successful. Nobody. So why in the world would I go use it? I don't have to smoke it to find out what kind of damage it'll do. I've seen it. Well, man, you got to try it. Try it for what? I'm looking at you, nigga. Read.
Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation? And it was imputed unto him for righteousness.
It was imputed upon Abraham for righteousness because of the trial that he went through. He was put to the point of having to sacrifice his own son. The Lord Spirit told him, said, listen, go in there. There's a what was it, a lamb in the thicket? A ram in the thicket, say, get that. But he tried him. That's an example of faith right there. Come on.
Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt.
Think about this. Think about Joseph. He was being tempted by who? Potiphar's wife. You know, everybody always talk, but they try to imagine what she looked like. He's running over Egypt. So you know his wife did not look like Precious. Huh? His wife was bad to the bone. And she trying to throw it on him. Oh, Joseph. Brothers got all weak. And he said, no, this ain't the law. This is adultery. Let me get the hell out of here. Read that again.
Yes, sir. Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment.
He kept the commandment. Come on.
And was made Lord of Egypt.
This man got scruples. He got sagacity. He's got wisdom. He's got intelligence. This man deserves to be running over all because his mind is disciplined. Come on.
Phinehas, our father, and being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood.
Since Phinehas saw some evil going on with the man and the woman in the tent of another nation. He said, this right here is going to get Israel killed. With his zealousness, he took that javelin and went through both of them. See, that's some vengeance right there. Read that again.
Phinehas, our father, and being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood.
Go ahead.
Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel.
Jesus is Joshua. Okay, read that again.
Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel.
He was made a judge in Israel. Come on.
Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation.
These were the only two that made it out of the wilderness, Joshua and Caleb. But all the rest of Israel, that original group that came out of Egypt, got to get put to death. Go ahead.
Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation.
All of these are our examples of righteousness that we're supposed to have in our fortitude basket, meaning our history in our mind as remembrance to call upon whenever we're faced with challenging decisions. But if you don't, if there's a people that don't have that history, they're gonna fall victim to what's ever in front of them, like the damn television. Well, what is it? Your cell phone now, huh? TikTok, YouTube, foolishness, Instagram, and your whole brain become that damn thing. But read that again.
Verse 56. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land.
Read.
David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom.
Come on.
Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven.
Go ahead.
And Ananias, and Azarias, and Mishael, by believing, were saved out of the flame.
Go ahead.
Daniel, for his
So this is all of these are our forefathers that trusted in the Most High. And we have those as our examples. Mattathias is giving this to his sons. That gives your boys confidence. You tell these sisters that the daughters of Sarah, do that really mean something? The daughters of Sarah, you're supposed to really look and say, you know what? I come from the lineage of Sarah. Righteousness. How in the world am I going to be on Facebook with filth? Go ahead.
Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
Go ahead.
Fear not then the words of a sinful man.
What verse are you in?
Verse 62.
Yes, read.
Fear not then the words of a sinful man.
Don't fear what the enemy says, telling us that we can't do anything, telling us that we can't evolve, we can't grow. How in the world are we going to even accept that kind of verbiage when we got God on our side? You didn't just pop up. You didn't just create. You didn't just pop up here. There was direct involvement from God himself. The angels had to listen to God and say, create him, create her, because I have use of them. I have need of thee. We're going to come out here and allow ourselves to be nothing. Read.
Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms.
Anybody that speaks in bold opposition against Israel, the Most High said, surely you know his day is coming. They're going to be doo-doo on the ground. That's what the Most High is saying. Read.
Today he shall be lifted up,
Today, that's how we're looking at them now. Oh, look at Esau with all this stuff and all the nations they doing it, they glorifying. Today they all live, well, actually they're coming down now. But they had a time like the 50s. Riding around, nigga, with Confederate flags and all that. Nigga, go home, all that business. You be like, go home where? Nigga, you bastards, you took us from home. Where the hell we gonna go? Oh, back to the slave quarters where we put you niggas. That's what goes through our mind. Read.
Today he shall be lifted up,
Today he's all proud and pompous.
and tomorrow he shall not be found.
Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. That's where they're at now. They're on their way down. Decadence has set in. All praises to the Most High. I'm glad for that thing. Give the Lord a hand. You're rallying up people against me. You're causing them to clap. Read.
Because he is returned into his dust,
He is returned to his dust. He's going to be destroyed down to nothing. Come on.
and his thought is come to nothing.
We ain't never going to have to think about them ever again. All praise to the Lord. We're the everlasting. Just endure, brothers and sisters. That's what our vision and faith is about. Come on.
Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant.
So with all this history that Mattathias has given us, and he said, with that information, be valiant. Stand up like men. Stand up like women. You let somebody talk foolishness to you. Talking crazy. Psst. The hell you mean psst? Read.
Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law.
In behalf of the law that you do know of. Come on.
For by it shall ye obtain.
For by it, the law and the commandments in our history. Go ahead.
Ye shall obtain glory.
We shall obtain glory. That's the kingdom of heaven. This is the good stuff. This is the medicine. This is what the people, can you imagine going to church with them big speakers in there? Man, they can reach everybody. I know they got like the dope sound system. Them big churches, man, they can get that one microphone and heal thousands of people all at once. Read.
Verse 60.
I'm just shaking my head because it's horrible to know that. And ain't being done. People got to leave. And thank God they're leaving. Come on in. Read on.
Verse 65. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel.
This is what I wanted to get to. Here's Mattathias assessing the abilities of his sons. And this is what we have to do as leaders, as shepherds. We have to assess the ability of the whole nation. That's what we do. And we're going to talk more about that after Passover because it's something that we're working on to really help this nation really move forward. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So the objective is for this small remnant. Our job is to organize. Our job is to do like I was talking about earlier. Animals do it. The birds, all of them, they have a system of organization. None of them starve to death. They all eat. They got an ecology among them that keeps them alive. But we, as men, we allow ourselves to just get debased into all kinds of foolishness because we're not employing what God gave us. Read that again.
And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel.
Your brother Simon is a man of counsel. So he's actually assessing the talents. Because what you do is if you have an opposition, here we were fighting against the Greeks, and it's time for us to get ourselves in a posture where we can rebuild, where we can rededicate, get the temple and rededicate it. But you have to plan for that. You have to set up order. You have to set up structure. A lot of people don't like IUIC because of that. And I'm glad. And I'll tell you why I say I'm glad. Because my thought is, if you are a slouch, if you are one that's about nothing, then this place ain't for you. But my desire is to bend you into order because that's what God made you. You might not want it yourselves, but God wants that for you. Because the only way we're going to survive is that we have to be in order. I just showed you some examples. All of the nations are in order. They're in order in destroying us. And here we are with this me, myself, and I stuff, and we're dying like flies. 5 people could wipe out a whole community because we're not organized. So we have to learn organization. We have to learn structure. We have to learn we have to learn systems. There's a system that goes on even with the ant. Them bugs out there. Them bees, them wasps, they have systems that keep them thriving every year. Think about it. Where do they go? They are alive in the heat. In the winter, they have a system that preserves their species. Then soon as the weather changes, they go into another system of rebuilding. They have to eat. They have to protect. They have to procreate. They have a whole system, and they communicate. Here we are. We are men. We are women with intelligence. But we have to take an example from the ant. That's all right. But we're going to get it. So a lot of people are upset with how we operate. I try not to speak from the absolute stomach, because I'm going to say I don't give a damn, because I know what needs to be done. I'm just speaking about me. I know what needs to be done. We know what needs to be done. You have to organize the people. And you have to use this Bible to organize them. And we employ what our forefathers said. We employ the words and the records of our ancestors that guides us, that gives us that wisdom, sagacity. I like that word. Honorable men and women. That's what we got to do. Read that again.
1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 65. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel.
So a man of counsel, he's the thinker. He's the one that figured out how to set it all up. He's not necessarily a warrior out on the battlefield, but he's thinking about how to set it up. So you know what? I'm going to put you in this office. Go ahead.
Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you. As for Judas Maccabeus,
now he's talking about his other son. As for Judas now, come on.
He have been mighty.
He's your captain, for an example. He would be your captain. This is a man that knows how to set the military up so that you can protect the offices that Simon had set up. See how they work together? What good is it to have all the intelligence in setting up systems and setting up, like it says, Simon as a counselor? He knows how to organize in terms of getting systems set up, like set up the different operations. I'm gonna expand what Simon is saying. He's expanding. I'm going to expand that. Set up operations, set up systems, set up departments, making sure that the troops, when they go to fight, they got food, making sure that they got their garments. He's setting that up. He's setting up the different offices to make that happen. But while he's doing that, the enemy wants to come in and knock it down. Well, that's what that's what Judas is for. That's the military. He knows how to set up the army. He knows how to set up the military. The captain. He knows how to set all that up. This is collective unity. Although they are different in their particular functions, they all operate as a system. Y'all all right? Yes, think of a car engine. How many of you in here are mechanics or ever worked on a car before? I see quite a few hands. That's a manly thing. I ain't seen too many women. I see a few women say, yeah, I do too. That's okay. That's all right. You might need to get that car running. But an engine, talk about systems now. You have a fuel system. You have an electrical system in an engine. The engine is the nation, so you can understand. I'm breaking it down. The engine is the whole nation. You have the fuel system. You have the electrical system. You have the air filter system, the air that the what they call it, the air intake, the help get the air into the engine. There's other systems. I'm not even thinking all of them. Transmission, all of these things work together in this engine for the purpose of moving the vehicle from point A to point B. But can any of those systems operate outside of an automobile? What would a fuel system do sitting on the ground if it's not connected to an engine where pistons move the engine? My point is, all of these systems work together to propel the whole car, which is the nation. Okay, so as we organize, we look at the different parts of the nation. This brother is good at this. This group of brothers is good at this. This group of sisters is good at this. They're good at this. This group is good at this here. And all of these things work together in this engine, and the whole nation moves. That's collective unity. That's what the ant does. They got army ants. They got different species of ants. Then they all work collectively together. You dig it? This is when our kids go to school, like I heard Dick Gregory said, teach me how to live, damn it, rather than teach me how to make a living. Because people only go to school to learn a job. But if you teach me how to live, then I will know how to organize the resources to actually make a proper living, and I'll know how to live. I will know how to set up my whole society. That's what white folks understand, but black people are not taught that. You think the reason they didn't want you in the classroom with them because of your black color? No. They wanted to talk about real education while they just taught you how to work on a job. They love your color. What the hell are they doing in the sun trying to get it? They love what you look like. You know, ain't nothing wrong with your hair, sisters. Talking about some blonde hair. No, you crazy. Read.
Verse 66. As for Judas Maccabeus, he hath been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain and fight the battle of the people. Take also unto you all those that observe the law.
So you have to also take all those that are good, that are lawyers. You got to organize them that know how to judge. This is court. This is courts. This is jurisprudence. That has to go down as well. Because at war, you're going to have problems. You're going to have even little skirmishes and insurrections, if you will, among the warriors, among the people that's working in the systems. You have the whole people like you have the seamstresses. They might have a little spat between them and stuff. People that's working in the food industry, among that need to feed the troops, they might have some issues going on. But a body of lawyers that we'll be talking about, those that are zealous for the law, they will know how to apply the law to resolve all of those. That's the kind of unity that I want to see. I want to see that kind of nation. That's what, and I believe that you can do it. I have no doubt that you can do it. You're the greatest people that ever put your foot on this damn planet. I just want you to believe that. Accepting mediocrity for what? When I see these brothers graduate the 300 program, see these brothers graduate from the MOV and the different programs that we have, that's just the beginning of greatness. And it's a huge thing because brothers and sisters outside that's learning in these cemeteries called church, in these cemetery row seating in these schools, they don't get to see men like you. And they're baffled, they're blown away when they see the unity among us and they see how we operate. That blows them away. They don't understand it. But we get a chance to demonstrate that to them and say to them, say, listen, brother, I didn't come from outer space. I was in the ghettos with you. And if I was able to do it, you could do it too. That's a way of giving them, being prepared to give an answer to those that ask you the reason of the hope. They say, well, how did that you have hope? All I see is dope and prostitution and this and that and the other. How in the world did you have vision? And you was there with me. Then you get to expound on him and get to wake your brothers up, get to wake your sisters up. Read.
Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen.
Then this is exactly what's going to go down. Okay? If justice is coming, but we got to get ourselves together first. Read.
Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law. So he blessed them, and was gathered to his fathers.
Okay, so this is how we set up order. That was after verse 68, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, all praise to the Most High.
What club was that at?
That was admit that a lot of people don't even realize that.
I've called her. She hasn't responded. I've called her more than a few times.
But the Zulu Nation, I'm like, what the hell is this? I know nobody know what I'm talking about. You'll leave me on the island by myself. I don't know what the hell Bishop's talking about. That's what y'all do. Then after class, yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I just don't want to be caught out there. The hell is this? Get on my damn nerves. So read that again.
Shalom, this is Captain OC of the IUIC Booster Club. Today I'm going to show you and tell you how you can join the Booster Club. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to send an email to iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. In the body of the email, you're going to include your name, where you congregate, and how long you have been with IUIC. Once you sent this email, wait for a response, and then you too will be a member of the IUIC Booster Club. Shalom.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
So now, that's what organized unity is all about, what we just saw. Knowing how to set up the nation. That's what the vision is about, and we have faith in this vision to push it. Some might really see us as like dictators, so to speak, like we really push hard on you. Some of the greatest teachers that I had were those that really put their foot to say, listen, I hate to see you squander. There were some black teachers that I came up that I knew. When I was in third grade, one particularly, it's something about certain teachers that really made, I'm talking about in public school. I'm PS 154, New York. I went there. It was in the third grade. Her name was Mrs. Smith. She was all about the African. She wear an afro, the big earrings. It was, like Angela Davis. That's how she looked. And she would always talk wonderful to us. She always sparked greatness in us. She always gave great expectations. She didn't want to see any of us come to school with a problem like we couldn't do. She would take the time and invest and talk with them and then call their parents if she had to. And nurture that seed of greatness. This is what we are about. Okay, so this is what we look to do, because there's greatness in you. And if we seem hard, it's because we know that the greatness is in you, but it's covered up with BS. It's covered up with doubt. It's covered up with inferior teachings and crap that you get when you go out in this world. Our job is to break through that and bring out the real you. That's the reason why we do it. It's like we see something in you that you yourselves don't see. And a lot of us been through some hard trials. We've been through some stuff, some of us. Some stuff that I went through in this truth years ago. So, the greatness is in us, brothers and sisters. We have a new day. Today could be the beginning. Forget about yesterday. Today could be the beginning where we could take on the righteousness of our past and apply it to our lives today and move forward as one in unity. And we can get everything done. We're looking at the other nations. Ooh, wow, look at what they did. And you think to yourselves, they got 2 hands, they got a head, they got legs, they got a brain. Hell, I got those things. What the hell's wrong with me? Why I can't do that? What is it that they have that we don't have? Besides Satan. Because they got Satan, we got God. You all right? But we can do these things. We can do this. Proverbs 29:18.
Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18.
So our job is to execute this order, this vision. And this vision must be a burning desire, a desire that burns past your temptations to remain slothful. That's what vision, that's the kind of vision we're talking about. The vision that we have to have is that burning vision, that faith. You know, when you believe in something so strong that you won't allow nothing to get in the way of it, that's how we have to be. That's what Mattathias was talking about. Put your life on the line for it. Because there's no other way. When you employ this kind of vision, it has to be like a burning, passionate burning, where you won't accept nothing less than the best. Some of y'all know me in reference to how we keep this school clean. Y'all all right? And I'll be looking, I'll be checking certain things out. They up there laughing because they know. And I'll be ringing phones all night long. So what the hell is this? Fix this. This will not become ravished, raggedy, none of that. And the reason, let me tell you the reason why I'm doing this in particular, is because this right here has to be the foundation of everything. Need to be able to see this and say that is the standard by which we need to deal everywhere else. You follow me? And I am not in about mediocrity. I'm not about that. I used to draw like an artist. A lot of people don't know that, but I used to do that. Got a little art skill or whatever. And whatever I would work on, I would not let it go until I knew in my spirit that it was perfect. You understand? I don't like to half do nothing. If I'm going to do it, I want it to be the best. I don't give a damn who's looking at it. I want it to be the best, and that's what I want to see from you. Because you're that people. The scriptures say, be ye perfect even as your Father in heaven. The scripture, what Christ said, like Christ, like he tells us to be. I want to follow that example. I want to see nothing half done. Put your best into it. Because people behind you need to see that greatness. Why are you going so far with it? Why are you putting so much effort in it? It's because I'm not only doing this for me, I'm doing this for you too, so that you don't be a slouch when it comes to this. So you don't be slothful. Because I'm not going to be here forever. All of our days on this earth are numbered. I'm not going to outlive all of you. That's a joke. Many of y'all will outlive me from this time point. You get what I'm saying? And whatever I can do, I'm just talking about me. I'm sure I'm speaking for the bishops, the deacons, the captains. I'm speaking for all of us that have a hand in leading this flock, that have a hand in shepherding this flock. If we can leave you with the desire to keep this truth going in the right direction, because our people need it. Our people need it badly. I want y'all to, every once in a while, I think about certain things. Many of us that sit in these sanctuaries, we come out of lives, some of us was on drugs, some of us was in prostitution, some of us was into, you name it, we were in it. Murderers, some of us were architects, doctors, because people only think that we only got like the rough brothers and sisters. No, we got doctors, policemen, you name it. They all in here. You dig it? We have to, you think about the bad, the bad stuff, per se. People that were drug dealers, I'll use that. People that were robbers, rapers, violent gang members, things of that. Let's use that as an example. They're not that anymore because they're here. They've been cleaned up. Think about if IUIC wasn't in existence in many of these men's and women's lives. Where would they be? Where would they be? They'd be in the streets, robbing you, raping you, or whatever. Dead, selling you dope, getting locked up. Somewhere with a needle in their arm, aborting another baby. Sometimes our sisters aborting another baby and another baby. But now that they've learned this gospel, they say, you know what? I'm going to clean myself up. Because if you men have enough faith in me, maybe I need to have some faith in myself. What is it that you see? I've had people say this to me. What is it that you see in me? So what do you mean what I see in you? I see God in you. What do you mean, what do I see in you? You should see God in yourself. But I understand what happened to you because I read your history. And let me show you, my brother. Let me show you, my sister, what happened to us. And if I have enough faith in you, and I'm a mere man, just like you're a woman, just like you're a mere brother. I said, but if this helped me, why can't it help you? That's the love that we're supposed to have for each other. That's how we're supposed to deal with each other. That's how we have to be. And this society don't want us to get there. The hell with them. He's going to perish like his own dung. But the Lord going to raise us up. Read that Proverbs again.
Yes, sir.
29,
Proverbs
18.
Chapter 29 and verse 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. Come on.
But he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
Happy is he. So we're going to keep these commandments. We're going to keep these commandments. Excuse me. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Our people will perish in slothfulness. Our people will perish in mediocrity. It don't necessarily always mean perish in death. If there is no vision for the people, you will become stagnant, and qualities of where you once sat will begin to erode because of bacteria and bad thoughts, filthy thoughts, Instagram. Filthy communication, family members, things like this will begin to erode, or like the Bible says, will begin to corrupt your good manners. Evil communication corrupt good manners. That's what will begin to happen to you. So you ain't stagnant, you're going into the reverse. So if there is no vision to keep forward, you will perish in those things, and ultimately you will perish in your life to death. Okay? Then it says, what? But happy... It says,
but he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
Happy is he. It's against the law to be slothful in this truth. For us to be slothful, that is against the Most High. Okay? We are not to do that. So it is for us to be happy in keeping his commandments. Keep what the Most High said. Proverbs 23 and 7.
Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he.
For as a man or woman thinketh in a mind, they become what's in their mind. They become what they think. Okay? Read it again.
For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he.
So is he. Go ahead.
Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee.
His heart is not with thee, meaning his mind is not with him. His mind is not with you. That's how it goes. You're sitting with somebody who's not in the same mind as you. Like sometimes you can hook up with the wrong person. And if their mind is not according to your mind, you're sitting with them, you're eating with them, but their mind is not of your mind. Which means you're going to become corrupted. And your mind ain't going to be right no more. For as you think it in your heart, that's what you're going to become. So if you have a thought of righteousness and making things happen in the right order, and you're sitting and eating with someone that's not thinking that way, your good manners will become corrupted, and you will no longer think properly. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee. He said, come, eat. Come sit down with me. And you're thinking that you're on one accord. But his mind, the scriptures say, but his heart is not with you. His mind is not in agreement with you, but you're sitting with them. You're entertaining yourselves with them. This means that you cannot unite with a slothful person whose mind is not of your mind. That's what that second part of the scripture means. Y'all all right?
Yes,
you get the point? They'll say, come, sit, come. And you think that you're on one accord. But their mind is not of your mind. And your mind will change. So you have to be around people. You have to be around a collective unified people that's thinking in the same direction. That's how you get things done. I had some, give me Romans 12. Romans 12 and 2. So it's about us changing our minds. This is all dealing with vision and faith. Changing our thinking. Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Let's start with that.
Yes, sir. Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
That we present our bodies a living sacrifice, meaning discipline every nuance about us. Discipline your thoughts, discipline your habits, discipline your thinking, discipline all of that. And that's a reasonable sacrifice to get rid of those things because Christ died for us. Come on.
Holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
It is our reasonable service to sacrifice the bad habits that we have. Get rid of it. Get the leaven out of our spirits. Get rid of that thing. Get the evil and the malice and the evil surmising and the evil thoughts that we have with each other. Get rid of that. We want to hold on to it because we think, I'm going to hold this grudge no matter what. No. Make amends with your brothers. Make amends with your sister. That's our reasonable sacrifice because Christ made amends with us. Think about that. He had his body put on a cross, not for himself, but for us. And here we talk about some what we can't do among each other. Wow. Read.
And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
But be ye changed by the renewing of our minds, to renew our thinking into the faith that our forefathers demonstrated. So we got all this history behind us. Give me my video. The video that I have. But before I play it, let's read the rest of that.
Yes, sir. That ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
That we may prove that we may prove, that's right, you got to hold it. That we may prove, I'm just trying to find it, that ye may prove what is good, that good and acceptable, perfect will of God. This is why we change ourselves. We conform to this. We change. We exercise discipline to get rid of being an immediate consumer. For an example, like I was talking about earlier, how we only think about now and me, myself, and I, and don't think about my brothers. Sacrifice that off. And it's going to take work to do this. It's going to take real will to do this. Let me give you an example of the program. This was many years ago, but this was the reason why we did it this way. Show it to him. It's Captain Shem instilling discipline, teaching discipline to the men. Come on with it.
Your head is up, your chest is up. Several of you like to look around because you have the discipline of a goose egg, meaning you have none. You're supposed to be looking straight ahead. That's what your job is. It's not a giant damn bumblebee, it's a drone above you. Why are we looking at the doggone drone? Hey, son!
lot of times, some of us, especially the men, and we Captain Shims, if you will, is all throughout IUIC. We have that program that set that up. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Because again, us singularly, we can't do all of this. We have to set duplicates of us, if you will, for lack of a better word. The trainer trains the trainees, you know, the trainer trains the trainer, that kind of thing. So we have to have this kind of order to be taught after we're gone. Lord forbid we go sooner than later. This train must keep moving. So Captain Shim makes a point, and he says, that's not a giant bumblebee flying around you. Because the point was, the brothers are supposed to be at attention. The brothers are supposed to be disciplined. It was about them keeping their discipline. But the drone was distracting them. What is he saying? This is how we are. You men are being trained that way. Trained meaning groomed, taught how to be disciplined. In discipline, you cannot allow distractions to take you off the vision, to break your faith. Same thing with you sisters. Here you're trying to go in a decent, here you're trying to go in a righteous direction. Here comes some slick Willie, gonna get your number, and he gonna talk garbage to you and knock you off your whole game. Because you've laid down the discipline. You've let the discipline fall to the side. So a lot of people don't correlate the military aspect of what we do with the spiritual. It is exactly that. Because you learning how to deal on a physical level that transcends into how we think spiritually. It trains us from the physical on how to deal spiritually. It gives you some background on how to organize your thinking from the physical. Y'all all right? Play that again. Get it from the beginning.
Your head is up, your chest is up. You know, several of you like to look around because you have the discipline of a goose egg, meaning you have none. You're supposed to be looking straight ahead. That's what your job is.
Pause it. You're supposed to be looking straight ahead. Brothers, y'all at camp. Here's an example. Here's a good example. Brothers at camp. He got the teacher teaching. You got the reader reading. Big butt Betty walks by. Whoop. Brothers is holding the scriptures. The teacher said, read. Because his mind went following the butt. That's what I'm talking about. And the danger in that, you distracted. The correlation with the drone is the same thing as you lost your discipline when the teacher that was trying to deal with the spirit that needs this truth. He's locked and he's listening. And he's calling for the scripture. You're the armor bearer, the reader. You have to give the artillery to the gunner to shoot them bad spirits so you can win your brother over. He turns to you, and you done laid the damn thing to the side because your mind is in West Bubble somewhere. Now the man is going down the street. Discipline is what you're learning here. Play that again.
Damn bumblebee is a drone above you. Why are we looking at the doggone drone? Hey, son! Hey! Now three of you moving so damn slow. You're like molasses in Canada in the middle of the friggin' winter. You're moving so doggone slow. Why? Because you don't care. You're selfish. You're like the fat kid that eats all the candy for him damn self. Sons of God! Better lock your bodies up. Feet at a 45-degree. Your head is up. Your chest is up. You're standing strong. You're not allowed to be weak because that is not in your nature. God said you are soldiers and you will endure hardness. I don't give a damn how big or small you are. You will stand like a damn warrior. That's your job.
You're listening to what Captain Jim is saying? Back it up a little bit again. I want you to hear what he's saying. Because the point is, I'll make my point here, then I'll let it play. The point is that These men come from all different walks of life. Collective unity. All different walks of life. Some have done it all. Some did this, some did that. Too numerous to name. Yet, God says, I'm going to organize these men as disciplined men to be the examples to the rest of our people that are still out there in them lifestyles. That's how important this is. And it's just the physical aspect of it, but this transcends into how we operate spiritually. Discipline in spirit to not allow temptations. You know, the flying drone could be something that you're tempted with right now that causes you to be slothful in dealing properly in the body on a spiritual level. Play on.
Sons of God! Better lock your bodies up. Feet at a 45 degree, your head is up, your chest is up. You're standing strong. You're not allowed to be weak because that is not in your nature. God said you are soldiers and you will endure hardness. I don't give a damn how big or small you are. You will stand like a damn warrior. That's your job. Stop looking around. Now we can start to work a little bit better because some of you have taken the nasty, undisciplined ways and you have discarded it and you have replaced it with a new, wonderful look that looks like a damn robot, a warrior. That's what we want to see. Are you ready? Always ready! Not half bad, but not damn half good, though. I want it louder than that. Are you ready?
Y'all getting the essence of rebuilding the man. Y'all digging this? This is very important. This is very important that these men learn how to discipline their thoughts, their behavior, and that's what this was many years ago, by the way. But this is important for us to get the understanding of training and disciplining our spirit to be like brothers. All of the men together come from different parts of the country. Some came from overseas. But when you see them, you see one people. You see one thought. Y'all understand what I'm saying? You see collective unity. They all got different talents. But when you see them like that, you said there's no, like we was reading earlier, eat and drink, but his mind is not with thee. That's not happening there. Everybody's mind is on the right mark. And that's what Captain Shem is doing. Captain Shem is actually being a father to many of those men that probably never had fathers in the houses. That's why I say you men are not something to be looked at lightly. We represent fathers where they didn't have any fathers. You women represent mothers who, some of these sisters never really had real mothers. We got a big job. And ain't no other species going to come and do it but us. Y'all understand what I'm saying? If we ourselves don't do it, who will? That's how we got to think. You know, I was going to understand that that's the hard work. That's just some of the hard work that we do. Okay. Wow, time is flying. I didn't even get to some of this. Well, like I said, I'm going to continue this subject on and on. But there's some stuff that I wanted to get to, but I'm going to do a sidebar for a moment because I know that there are you know, in reference to the video that we just saw, I want everybody to understand that the hard work that's involved in cleaning up our men. And that's good for us to see that. Okay? And they will help clean up the whole nation. So that's the importance that I wanted y'all to see. But I particularly want to say this here because temptation comes to those brothers as well. Okay, I'm going to do a sidebar. I'm going to deal with these sisters in a minute. These men trying to get themselves together, trying to come forward and do what the men before them have not done. I'm talking about the immediate men. In the history it's there. But a lot of us did not have fathers that laid down this kind of example. So we're like lost, like I said before when I came into this truth, question marks all over the place and up in my head. And many of you, same thing. We're walking around here lost, like dead men like the scriptures say, and their dead bodies shall line the street of the great city. That's how I was, and that's how all of us were. So we were looking for that kind of father figure. Okay? So now that we come into this truth, we see it. We instill discipline, according to the Bible, to our men, to stand our men up, to be the change that our people need to see. As these men are getting themselves together, cleaning themselves up, being that righteous example so that they could be the proper beacon to our people that are still out there messed up, I don't need for these young sisters that's rebellious, doing wickedness on Facebook. Yes, there's a few sisters in IUIC. I'm sidebarring now. Some of you young girls in the body all throughout IUIC are absolutely nasty. Meaning some of you got pictures, you are involved in certain things, talking about something, I don't want to get rid of those pictures and something crap like that. Your day is coming. I was going to say it like that there. The men that's trying to get themselves right, we are not going to allow for you sisters that don't want to get yourselves right to hook up with and mess these men up. We need these men to get the good sisters so that we could change this crap that's going on in our nation. If you sisters don't want to get it right, your day is coming. And just put it like that. I'm not pointing no fingers because I don't know who it is, but I know that there are because I know that we have that going on here. Hard-headed, rebellious, and want to be nasty, your day is coming. I'm just say it that way. And I'm going to say it on both sides. You brothers that don't want to get right, your day is coming. Because we are not, like I said before, this is a burning desire to get this truth done, to get it done the right way. And we don't want nobody effing it up. I'll just say it like that. I'll just leave it at that. Now I'm going to calm back down. All right? Give me the book of Hebrews. Sister, go out and get pregnant and then come back in here and try to latch up with the brothers. Try to marry a brother in the body. Hell no. Stay out there with your baby. Find a nigga that knocked you up. Come back here and mess these brothers up. Hell no. You keep your damn legs closed. Then you get some sense. Then you open them up to the right man. Not to some slick nigga on the street that's going to pump some garbage to you. Then you get, I'm pregnant. And come back here and look for the brothers. No. No. And you brothers don't be simple either. It's like Captain Shem said, don't let any buzzard flying around to cause you to lose your discipline or to cause you a lifetime of hell. You don't make the right decisions. I'm just throwing that out there. Y'all all right? Yes, okay. Hebrews. Now the people say, now they're looking at me and say, damn, what the hell happened? Now, like I said, it was a sidebar. Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. Y'all all right? I'm going to get back to my lesson. Sisters, all right? Y'all sure y'all all right? This is love, sisters. Your daddy should have told you this. How can I say it? Like I said, I'm not pointing to anybody specifically, but fathers are supposed to deal with their daughters like this here. Because the last thing a father wants to hear is that you're knocked up, pregnant, and where's his husband at? Where he at? Nobody wants to go. That's just total shame. And you're the only one, like Bishop always says, you're the one that's left with the baby. And then you say, well, I can't have fun anymore, so I want to abort it. I want to get rid of it. And you're creating sin on top of sin. And you're killing what God meant to create. And you're going to pay for that. So you better have some discipline over that butt. Okay? Hebrews. Let's explore faith now. Hebrews 11:1.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1.
Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read a little bit of this, and I'm going to get into some of the stuff that I have in here, because I have some stuff that I want to show y'all, and then I'll jump back up in the lesson the next time I teach to continue this, because I want to continue everything that I got here. Y'all all right? So let's read this and talk about our faith. I'm going to move around a little bit so I can get to my points, because I see time is flying. It's almost 9 o'clock already. Wow. Come on. Faith, Hebrews 11:1.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Again, there's some great qualities in the way these words are lined up. Meaning, what we were talking about before. Man sees an open field. I need a house, he'll say. I need, I need things to be built here. We set up we set up. Let's use this building. We came in here, it was empty. We put what we put in here. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Our faith is demonstrated by the works that we put in, right? And it is also the evidence of things not yet seen. People see us coming together. They see us organizing. They see us building. They see us building systems. They see us building relationships. They see us repairing families. They see us doing great works. But as they see it, what we're hoping for is the kingdom. As we continue to work towards it, they don't see the kingdom yet because the scriptures say it is not seen. Read it again.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Faith is the substance. The substance. You're trying to describe what faith is. You can't see faith itself. Faith is only seen by the work that you put it into something that's not yet seen. Example. Man wants to be a doctor or an architect. You see him going to school. He's not a doctor yet. He's not an architect yet. But you see him carrying the architect tubes. I mean, that's what they used to carry when I was going to school. You know, the long drafting tubes. And a doctor. You know, they wear their certain attire. They have certain books or something. And although they have not reached the goal yet, you could tell where they are going based on what you see. You don't see an architect yet. You don't see a doctor yet. But you see the evidence of him becoming a doctor, which is not yet seen. You see the evidence of him becoming an architect, which is not yet seen. But you see the substance of his faith or her faith. They say, well, I can tell what you're going to be because of what you're doing now. That's how faith works. When the Bible says faith without works is dead, how in the world could I say have faith and I'm not doing anything to validate my faith by my works? My works has to validate what I believe in. Faith is having a belief in something that is not yet seen. So I have to work towards it. If I'm working toward it, the mere action that of me working towards it demonstrates where I'm going. And that's the faith. That is the evidence of what's not yet seen because that's where I'm going. You follow me? This is what our forefathers did. They worked to obtain the kingdom, even though they didn't get it. But their hard work and our history behind us, as we look and see them work towards pressing towards the kingdom, we can see where they're going. And the only thing we have to do is join in and follow the line. Read on.
Yes, sir.
Verse by it, verse 2.
For by it the elders obtain a good report.
Read.
Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
You see that? Read. Now jump to verse 7.
Verse 7. By faith Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear.
So Noah moved with fear. He had faith in knowing what was coming, but he had not yet seen it, but he moved with it. Read it again.
By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark.
What did he do?
Prepared an ark.
He prepared an ark, and there was no rain. It didn't rain that time. It didn't rain back then. It was just a mist. The scripture said a mist would come up in the water. So there wasn't no rain. So what the hell are you doing? Why are you, here's another example. Why are you people in IUIC doing what you're doing? Because we have that vision. We have that faith. What is this fool building a boat on sand, building an ark on sand? What the hell is he expecting? Ha, 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 ha. Well, that damn water started coming down. They weren't laughing no more. Same thing here. When the Most High started bringing judgment, they're going to be like, okay, I see why IUIC was doing what they were doing. Then it's going to be too late then. The scriptures say, then shall they know that the prophet had been among them. And when this cometh to pass, and lo, it will come, then will they know that a prophet had been among them. Okay? That's what you men represent. That's what you women represent when you operate properly. Read on.
By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not seen yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith.
Go ahead.
By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, not knowing whether he went.
So think about that. He went and established, he had to go from his parents' house and go and set up. And the Most High brought out the nation of Israel from him. But he didn't know where he was going. Read. So again, just like we was reading earlier with our forefather Mattathias, is being reiterated here. How we went back and brought up the examples of faith that our forefathers used. Go ahead.
By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in the tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which have foundations, whose builder and maker is God.
That's how we're operating. We know that God is the captain of this ship. He sent his son Christ to be the leader of this ship, and we're following him. Y'all all right? So what I want to do at this point, because like I said, I'm going to come back the next time I teach, and I'm going to grab the rest of these things here, but I'm going to jump up and give y'all a little something before we begin to close up. Go to Sirach chapter 36. Yes, start right there. This is going to be good. Sirach 36, verse 1.
Yes, sir. Sirach chapter 36 and verse 1.
Now, I'm going to make this part. I said, make our deliverance quickly. And this is a prayer. I wrote this down. This section of scripture here is actually good to add as a prayer for all of us. Okay? Sirach 36, let's read 1. Come on.
Verse 1. Have mercy upon us, O Lord, God of all, and behold us.
And behold us, O Lord. Have mercy on us, O Father. Come on.
And send thy fear upon all the nations.
Send your fear upon our enemies. Go ahead.
That seek not after thee.
That don't follow you, Lord, because they hate the Most High, just like the scriptures say in Psalms. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. They hate the Most High and they hate Israel. Okay, go ahead.
Lift up thy hand against the strange nations.
Lift up your hand in vengeance and retribution. I like that word. And indignation against the strange nations. Come on.
And let them see thy power.
And let the nations see the power of the Lord. This is a prayer. I'm going to incorporate this in my prayers every day. I like this thing. Read.
As thou wast sanctified in us before them.
As the Lord is going to be sanctified in us before them. They're going to see us get ourselves together, and ain't nothing they can do. The scripture talks about that. And when they see them, when they see us, great fear shall come upon them. Read that statement again.
As thou wast sanctified in us before them.
And the Lord going to be sanctified in us before our enemies. Go ahead.
So be thou magnified among them before us.
And be thou the Lord said, so be thou magnified among them before us. Come on.
And let them know thee, as we have known thee.
Go ahead.
That there is no God, but only thou, O God.
That's the reason why the Lord going to raise up Esau like he did King Pharaoh. Because he's going to smash him in the presence of everybody, including us. Read.
Show new signs and make other strange wonders.
Show new signs and make other strange wonders. This is the beautiful stuff that the Most High is doing right now with the nations and causing them to they're all getting upset and missiles, all that's getting ready to go down. Y'all been hearing about it. The brothers been teaching about it for the last couple of months. Deacon Malachi, Bishop Kanai, Deacon Ithon, they've been going through showing you all that turmoil that's going over there, Ukraine and Russia and all that. The Most High is stirring it up and heating up the whole deal. Okay, read that statement again.
Show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works.
That they might set forth thy wondrous works. That the Most High is going to make sure that that they may set forth thy wondrous works. Yes. So I say that's a good prayer. But the wonderful works is being done now, but I want to take it back a little bit. Guess what some of the other wonderful works was? How Esau tried to hide history, tried to hide our legacy of sagacity, tried to hide our intelligence, tried to hide our greatness, tried to hide our wisdom, tried to hide our artifacts, our art, all of the things that we used to look upon and remember our greatness. Now, the Most High allowed us to see what Esau has been hiding historically all these years. Now we're getting ready to get into it. Give me my book, The Icon. Put it up there. I bought this book in the museum. This museum, I'll tell you where I bought it at. There's a museum in Upper Manhattan called the Cloisters Museum. They also sold it at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York. There's a couple of other places over there, but I bought this book from there. So this book, very prestigious. Somebody told me that Gorbachev has one in his office. Gorbachev. But anyway, this book is a book of paintings that our forefathers, again, they lied in history, tried to cut all this history out for us to not know anything. But when we was in Europe, we ruled Europe over 1,000 years, and while we was there, we were painting our images all over the walls. Zoom in on the bottom part of the book. I want to read that. The Byzantine tradition in Europe, Russia, and the Near East through 7 major epics. So this book has got a lot of artifacts in it. Now we're going to go inside the book. And like I used to say, and let's see what the Israeli Knesset is hiding in their secret treasures. They don't want the Israelites to know about this information here. Here we go. The icons of Constantinople. This is in Rome. I'm going to read what it says here, but just giving you a little bit of information here. No, give me the writing there. So the icons of Constantinople. I want to zoom in at the words over here where it says iconoclasm. I'm going to read that there. Iconoclasm, Venetian looting in 1202 and the sack by the Ottoman Turks in 1453 are the main reasons why only very few icons have survived in Constantinople proper, meaning in proper shape. So they were saying that the looting that happened after the Ottoman Turks sacked it, they started destroying the art. That's why they call it iconoclasm. Y'all with me? So the writer says, it may seem daring, therefore, to write an entire chapter on the icons of the capital. Yet the situation is not quite so hopeless as might appear at first glance. So he said, we're going to go into and bring up some of these icons. So the highlighted part says, icons existed not only as panel paintings, but also as frescoes and wall mosaics, some of which have emerged from layers of whitewash. That's the part that I wanted to get. Do y'all see what y'all see here? The point of this book is, the reason why this book and this chapter and the paintings that's in it is to show that there are some icons that are still around that have not been tampered with the iconoclasm era or campaign to destroy the black art. It says icons not only existed as panel paintings, but also as frescoes and wall mosaics, some of which have emerged from layers of the white paintbrush. Whitewash. Whitewash is a period of when Rome When Esau took Rome back after what they call the Renaissance, they went through and destroying the black art that was painted all throughout the Dark Ages. That's what the period is called, iconoclasm. They were destroying black art that was all over the walls. Why did they do this? Because they were getting ready to set up white supremacy. And we were going to be walking around here talking about my hair is the wrong color, my skin is the wrong color. This is where it began. So they were very systematic. They were very organized. These Edomites that did this. And this is talking about over in Spain and Rome. They were doing this. But all of Esau think this way. And I got the records right here. It says, some of which have emerged from layers of whitewash to give an undiluted impression of the highest achievements of Constantinopolitan art. So the paintings that we're going to see in this book is the ones that have not been tampered with by these white artists. Now the question that might come up is, well, why did they not get all of them? And why would they put a book together holding these pictures in it? I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to reiterate it when I go further in my lesson. It's important for the enemy to know your history. It's important for them to see the real black images of what you really look like. But to give it to you is the problem. It's important for them to know what not to teach you. It's important for them to share the books backwards and forwards with each other. Hey, Harvey, get Bill. These are the records that we cannot teach them. You dig it? That's the conversation about us. We can't have them, for God's sakes, you can't have them sitting in the same classroom. Sal, you got to get them out of there. Y'all all right? That's the conversation, so to speak. But they have to keep these records among themselves. Let's go inside the book. Let's see what we're dealing with. Now, what are we looking at? You're looking at images. We're going to find out who these men are. That's Moses. Let's get the words first. Drop down. Drop down. Let's get the writing. Hey, Negroes don't have books like this. This right, nobody expected a black man to go inside a museum and buy a book like this. What the hell you doing in here, Negro? What do you mean you want that book? Yeah, I want the book. Well, what do you know about it? I know everything about it. I know it's my people in there. Well, who learned you, Mim? They want to know. Let's get into the writing. What it says, I want the above. It says, okay, opposite, meaning on the page over there, drop down. It says above, detailed prophet Moses. Okay. Further down it says above right, prophet David. And further down, the apostle Andrew. So these are Israelites, correct? Now let's go to the pictures. Let's move on up. I want to deal with Moses. Let me have a little bit of fun here. Zoom in on that. Look at this here. I'm gonna show. I want y'all to get a good eyeball full of this. This is not a comic book that we're looking at. These books come out of prestigious universities in this country and even overseas. You're not gonna find this in your regular comic books, stuff like that. Most black folks don't even talk stuff like this here, going into these kinds of records. That is one of the paintings that emerged from layers of whitewash. Moses with the burning bush. That's what you see in his hand. Our forefathers painted this during the Dark Ages. So when they had iconoclasm, they was getting rid of this here. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Y'all ain't seen how diabolical our enemies are when they go to I got images of them destroying what we're talking about. For the purpose of you walking around here thinking that your skin color is something bad. Causing you to hate your own hair. Talking about some blonde is more, all that kind of stuff. Brothers was telling me, we was on Patient Saints last week. And Captain Zakar and Captain Severus, I think they had taken a taxi cab to get to the radio show. And the sister had picked them up. And the sister, she was talking as if she was conscientious about black people and all that, but she had blonde hair. And they were telling her, they said, well, sister, if you're going to be about black power and the rest of it about the black folks, you got to deal with what black people have. Black people don't have no blonde hair and all that. And she says, but I like this. So as they continued to, they didn't really beat her up about it, but they was trying to really show her that she shouldn't think that way. But they made the point that said she was like, hurry up, get these dudes out of my cab. Because they were tearing that head up, tearing that blonde hair up with this information here. But our people got to learn, and that's the whole point about that. All right, come out of that, back out of that. Let's see where I'm going after this here. So that's in Constantinople and Rome. So you're looking at black images of Moses. That other one is King David. That's what that is. Zoom in on that. With the crown on his head. Black. Now I'm going to show you that this is, what you're looking at is serious business. Okay? Now, come out of that. Let's go to my next book. This is Early Spanish Manuscript Illumination. I'm going to another book. Early Spanish Manuscript Illumination. Now, early Spanish meaning the Christians that ruled Spain before the Edomites took it back. Okay, during the same time when the Edomites came back and they conquered Israel and Rome, Constantinople, they also sacked the Israelites that was in Spain. So they took Rome back and they took Spain back in the same time period. Okay, this would usher in what is known as the Renaissance. So before the Renaissance, that's why they entitled it Early Spanish, meaning before the Edomites came in. This is the art that was in there. Manuscript illumination, illuminating the artwork over there. Go back to the beginning of go back to the other, zoom in on that. That's part of the art there. Look at that. They got Christ in the middle with the green garment, just like the scriptures say in Daniel's. Look at, can y'all see the head of Christ? And the angels beside him, the cherubims. Can y'all see that? Are they, what, look at the hands. So you got to point these things out. Move around, look at the feet. Black. Look at the hands, look at the face on the angels. That's Christ in the middle. Y'all all right? Now, go to the next page. Because inside the book, they're going to describe, that's the same picture there, what you're looking at. That's the same picture there. Now, the writing is going to make reference to this piece here. Y'all all right? Let's read the top. Give me the next page because I'm letting you know where it's at. Give me the next picture because I zoom in on the page. Right there. Zoom in on that. This is the same point. It says Christ in majesty. Y'all see that, right? This is making reference to what was on the front of the book, and this is making reference to the page that we just saw in the same book. Christ in majesty. That's what we were looking at. Christ, whose darkened flesh tones now give him an almost Negroid cast. You read that, and the way Esau wrote it, that's the Jedi mind trick thing. Because you know what you just saw. What color is Christ according to the pictures, brothers? What color is Christ according to the pictures, sisters? All right. So we are bona fide by agreeing with what our eyesight just saw. Y'all all right? But Esau said, but let me talk to him. I'll make him switch, even though he saw it. That's how Esau thinks. He'll come to you and say, don't worry about them. Even if they did see it, just let me talk to him. Because I'll get him to see otherwise. Y'all all right? So he writes, he says, Christ, whose darkened flesh tones. Notice how they wrote it. They're saying that his flesh tones were darkened as if that's not his original color. Whose darkened flesh tones now give him an almost Negroid look. Almost. So he might look like a Negro, but don't be fooled. He's not quite Negro. Sorry. That's what he's doing to us. The Jedi mind trick. Whose darkened flesh tones now give him an almost Negroid cast. But we read out the Bible, Christ looked like brass burned in a furnace with woolly hair. So what happened there? The white man say, just let me talk to him. We will show brothers, read it out the Bible, just show you how this man thinks. We will be in camp and show the man, read it for him straight up. And Esau would still come to him and make him say, color doesn't matter. Why are you saying color don't matter when God and Christ had it written in the Bible? How is it doesn't matter when it mattered so much that it's in the book? But he said, let me talk to him. I'll make him unsee it. That's how white supremacy do you. It'll make you think like that. So as it says, it's enthroned between two cherubs. That's what we saw in the painting. With a great circular firmament suspended by the hand of two seraphs. So as you can see, that picture is what we were looking at. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Now, let's see what we got next. We're getting ready to set up my next picture. I'm getting ready to give you a movie. Y'all going to like this one. Because like I want to say, black people in the schools and colleges don't even learn true history. And if they even seek to bring out the truth, they get the mistreatment that the sister Nicole Hannah Jones got when she put that 1611 project together. Okay, they gave her hell for that. They didn't want to give her tenure and all of that. How many of us ever saw this movie called The Ten Commandments? The old one, the one by Sister B. DeMille that was put out in the 50s. There's some very important points in that movie if anybody has ever showed it or have not shown it before. I'm just going to go over some, and then we're going to bring out what we got to bring out, then we're going. But I could not leave you without giving you this today. I got a lot of more. I actually wanted to show how our deliverance is going to come, but, you know, maybe we can get it in sometime soon. You got my video. Now, what I want to talk about is that we saw the Ten Commandments, and I want you to see the scene about Moses. Now, we just saw the picture from the book, the icon, the archaeology that showed what Moses looked like. Y'all all right? Sisters, y'all all right? Okay, now let's see what the film industry did. Play it.
Did it attach you, Ramses? Or the fact that you must marry the man I choose to follow me on the throne?
I am the son of your body. Who else could be your heir?
Now, remember now, what's hard about this is that we just saw what's in the book. The blatant racism. That book, that picture existed way before this movie was made. And these people have the records. They know what Moses really looked like, but they said, but we can't teach them because in their mind, niggas watch TV, niggas don't read books. So we'll allow the records to be in the books, but TV, they watch TV, so we need to fix this up a little bit, Clyde. Y'all all right? Okay. Bishop sent the video. I think I want to show that. Yeah, I'm going to come back to this here. I want y'all to see this here. Then we're going to come to this here. Because what I'm about to show you here is the efforts what was done to keep us from knowing the truth. So let's play this thing here with the bishop sent. All praise to the Most High. You got it?
Professor! I got it open! Good heavens, man! Great Scott, we've discovered the fountain of all knowledge of Egypt in the entire world. Do you realize the importance of this moment, Smedley?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you see the brilliance, the untold years?
I see it, sir.
Sir, that's his message. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Slide.
Look! What is this?
See. Says, Cannot. This is the elixir of life, sir.
The elixir of life?
The cure for all diseases.
Wait. See here.
Wait,
Give it to
there's
me.
an inscription on the bottom.
Give it to me. Give it.
Open at other end.
Lumix.
This can't be, man.
What?
You know what this is?
What is it, Buddha?
It's the book of life.
Book of life.
In the beginning, when man arrived on Earth, the black gods did leave their spacecraft, and they walked, and they named the beasts of the sea and the animals of the land.
Heavens.
And man in his blackness did walk the earth, making medicine.
Medicine?
They discovered type. These were all black people got down. Wait a minute. There ain't nothing in here about whitey. This is ours, Jack. Wait till the brothers hear this.
Buddha.
I'm gonna get this book out of here, baby. This tells the real tea. Check this out.
Control yourself, don't you see?
What you mean, Jack? Look at this here. Black people started the music and the brain surgery back in the year 3 BC.
Yes, of course, Buddha.
Man, they was getting down. This is it, brother.
Yes,
Everybody gonna know about this. Listen, we can change the history. Civilization will be changed.
By all means.
Yeah, this is gonna be it.
Get the bulldozers, there's nothing here.
He said, hold it. Y'all missed what he said. He said, wait till the brothers hear this. He said, I'm going to take this book. I'm going with this. I'm taking this out. Go ahead. Back it up a little bit so they can hear it, because I know that was the point. The white man looking at him. Go ahead.
Yes, of course, Buddha.
Man, they was getting down. This is it, brother.
Yes,
Everybody gonna know about this. Listen, we can change the history. Civilization will be changed.
By all means.
Yeah, this is gonna be it.
Get the bulldozers, there's nothing here.
But.
Shut up! Good heavens, time for tea, eh? What?
They want to cover that up. Now, it's done in a skit, but what I'm showing you is real history, what they really did. See, you know, you think about it, Richard Pryor, he had a lot of, when he bring his thing out on stage, a lot of people was, a lot of people didn't really appreciate the language, if you will. But he had a conscience, and, about events that was realities that black people had faced. And he used his talent of comedy to try to illuminate some of these inequities, racial situations that's unfair to us. So he would use his platform to do that. He would bring a lot of these things out in a lot of his stand-up. So he was a conscious brother in terms of how much he knew. So I don't knock the brothers, even though they didn't learn this truth. I still pray that the Lord have mercy on them. So as we saw that right there is an indication of life, of what they really do. And that's what I'm showing you here. Here we are, Sister B. DeMille. Let's go back to it again. I could keep y'all much longer than this. I see it's really winding down. But I want to get these points, and I had to jump to this because I want to give y'all this before we break out. But now I'm hoping that y'all enjoy what we went over today. Hit it.
The Lord Moses, Prince of Egypt, son of the Pharaoh's sister, beloved of the Nile God, commander of the stubborn host.
These are the holy. You're looking at I got to mention this here. This right here is King. I forget. This was King. I know this was a pharaoh. I think it was Seti. You had Ramses that succeeded him. This right here is Nefertiri, the black woman Nefertiri. Y'all right? When I say the black woman Nefertiri, everybody always talks about being, at least they did in New York. Nefertiri had the earrings and all of that. They had a white woman to play her. I'm going to get my thoughts together and really talk about this scene here. Play on. So you got this Pharaoh sitting here.
I agree with it.
May your name be exalted on earth, O conqueror, even as the
Ain't
sun
Seti.
is exalted
Seti.
in the heavens.
That's it. Yeah. Seti. I want y'all to listen to what's about to be said.
My sister's son.
My sister's son.
We have heard how you
Look at his white. Look at this guy.
The venomous
Damn.
serpents used against you when you laid siege to the city of Saba.
May my arms stay strong in your service, great Seti.
Who is this fair young god
This is
coming
Nefertiti,
to the house of Pharaoh?
the Egyptian goddess that black women be
Tell
worshiping.
you how I share her joy at your return.
No need, my brother. Great one, I bring you Ethiopia.
Now, I want y'all to notice something. Here you have the Egyptians being played as white folks. Y'all all right? Then you have Moses or Charleston Heston playing as Moses, white man. Pharaoh is an Egyptian. Moses is a Hebrew. Y'all all right? And now they say, great one, I bring you Ethiopia. And then they bring up, this is a black actor from the 60s, Woody Stroll. That's him. You can look him up. He's playing the Ethiopian. Now, mind you, this is what I'm about to bring out. They could not lie about the Ethiopians. They had to get a black actor to play the king of the Ethiopians. Too many people know about the Ethiopians, right? Remember the starving, baby starving with the big stomachs and all that on the commercials years ago? I ain't making fun of it, but y'all dig what I'm saying. Everybody remembers the Ethiopians in commercials. Everybody gonna be like, Ethiopians, black. They know that, so they can't lie about that. When they say, I bring you Ethiopia, they know that that's got to be a black man. But the man that's introducing him is Egyptian, supposedly, because he's supposed to have passed for the Egyptian that's on the throne. You remember Moses was taken up as the son of Pharaoh's sister or something like that, right? So they all are Egyptians, supposed to look like Egyptians. I'm going to make sense out of it. So now we got Woody Stroll walking up. So you got Woody Stroll as an Ethiopian, you got Moses as a Hebrew, and then you got the quote-unquote pharaohs and Nefertiti sitting on the throne in Egypt. And that's actually filmed in Cairo, Egypt. That's where that was actually filmed at. This was not a cheap film. Give me the Bible dictionary, brothers. Put the thing up there. Give me the page. I want y'all to see something. Here it is. Let's zoom in. Let the people see it. This is the Compact Bible Dictionary. Let's go inside the book. We read this many times, but I want y'all to see something, again, to point out the diabolical lies. We're going to read about Ham.
Yes, sir.
It says,
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood.
So who are we reading about? Ham. Go ahead.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Ham became the father. Progenitor means the father. Ham became the father of the dark races. Now it's going to name the races that Ham became the father of. Go ahead.
Not the Negroes.
But Ham was not the father of the people you called Negroes. Wait a minute. I forgot about that part. So in order for them to say that Ham was not your father, that means they know who your father is. In order for them to say that you did not come out of Ham, they have to know by default where you came from. In order for them to say that you did not come from Ham, they have to know where you came from. They know that you're the Israelites. They know we're the Jews. They know that. And that's the reason why they're hiding all this information. But the point here says that Ham was the father of the dark races. What does it say after that?
But the Egyptians.
He was the father of the Egyptians, which is a dark race. Go ahead.
The Ethiopians.
The Ethiopians, they noticed they couldn't lie about that. But they lied about the Egyptians. But they're blood brothers. So how is it that they have white folks playing Moses and playing Pharaoh up there, when then you have the brother to the Egyptians as black. For them to go through this length, it's not a surprise why they would do Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the way they did it. And the 68th verse to lie about that verse. Because you see, they've been doing it. They did it here. The Egyptians and the Ethiopians are blood brothers. They both come out of Ham. So why in a movie that they got, the Egyptians played as white folks? Because, and then they cut it up, they said, oh, Egypt is in the Middle East. But Egypt is in Africa. What the hell is this? And all that land was the one land, was one mass. Y'all all right? Yes, so now, come out of this. Let's see. Let's see. Did we play? We played all that, right? Ethiopian. Now, here's the question. Why hasn't Christianity dealt with this? Why haven't the black Christians in the churches, why haven't they dealt with what we just exposed here? We got it in the books that Moses, black. The icon books, black. But when it comes to the movie, they lie about it, but they couldn't lie about the Ethiopians, so they had to get an actual Ethiopian actor, an actual black actor to play as an Ethiopian when they should have did the same thing for the Egyptians, according to the history. The dictionary said that the Egyptians are supposed to be black as well. But if they would have made the Egyptians black, they would have had to make Moses black. So they'd rather lie on the Egyptians so that they could lie about Moses so that you will never know that Moses looked like you. Ain't that something? They think deep in their lies. They think deep in their lies. We got to lie about the Egyptians because Moses passed for one, and we cannot have the Egyptians looking like the Ethiopians if Moses passed for an Egyptian, so we got to make the Egyptians white. And people would not even catch the fact that the Egyptians and the Ethiopians are brothers, according to their own books. According to the Bible, it's in the Bible that they all come out of Ham. So that's just some evil right there. I got more, just a little bit more. We're gonna do it in. But let me show you the damage that teaching like that does. Show me the next picture. This is what it does. There was a, hold it, don't show that yet. What's this video here? I got a video before that, right? What's the video before that? Yes, sir, I want that video right there. Before we play it, I want you to see, because when people think of, they say color doesn't matter. That's a lie. I'm going to show you the color matters. When by them lying about what Moses looked like in there, even in the movie, it has a terrible effect on all of us. We're going to show you. And I'm going to pay attention to this here. I'm almost done.
Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because she's white and he has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because he's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me?
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
Stop. She's a little bit older than the others. She's old enough to recognize what she just said and what she's thinking. This child. When he said, which doll is the ugly doll, she pointed to the black doll without even thinking, because her subconscious and the racist teachings that she's been learning since a baby, she's already processed that as truth. But in her spirit, she knew that she was condemning her own self, and she caught that. You could see that in her face. When he said, why is that doll? And then she's looking at it, and then he said, which doll looks like you? That pause is where the lights came on. I've been damaged. I've been damaged. So people say, oh, that's old times. That's such and such. No, it ain't old times, because my next point is going to prove out. Show me the next clip. Show me the next picture. Now, I have more to show in this video, but I want to, this is the damage that it does. Not this, the picture. This is the damage that it does. You see this? This is not old. All of these pictures, zoom in on some of that mess. This is what we end up with. You ask yourself, how damaged are we that our sisters are going to do this? This is what we got to fix, brothers. This is what we got to deal with. This is the truth. We have to teach the truth, the correct mess like this here. The sister in the cab says, what'd she say? I feel this is more of my spirit. Something like that. She said she liked it better. This is what she was talking about. Look at these black women. Look at this one on the corner. Look at this one. What the hell? Come up. Look at this mess. They were taught to hate themselves because of this lying racist history. Okay? Well, they went much further than this here in terms of destroying our art. I haven't really touched nothing yet in terms of what I have lined up, but it's almost coming up on 10 o'clock. So I'm going to come out of this, and Lord willing, maybe, I guess 2 weeks from now, maybe I'll get back on the set. Yeah, we're going to bring that out. But I'm going to end this here. Let me read one scripture before I close with this here. Give me Jeremiah. I'm going to read. I had a whole list of things here, but I got to read this because Passover is upon us. And then we're going to read the other scripture. Jeremiah 16, verse 10.
Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 10. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt show this people all these words.
So us as shepherds, us as leaders, us as visionaries, us as the proponents and the demonstrators of faith, as we press towards our deliverance, as we meet with our people to deliver this word to them, read it again. And it shall come to pass.
And it shall come to pass when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us?
This is what we don't learn in this society. We think that we've been cursed. We don't realize that we are serving a punishment because of what we did against our father. We're not serving a punishment because of our color. We're not serving a punishment because we don't have good hair. We think we got bad hair. We think that blonde and all that stuff that they're showing us, we think that that's good. We think that their skin color is better than our skin color. That's not the reason why this evil has happened to us. And this is what history would show. When you take a person's history away, they don't even know the reason why they're going through a trial. Can you imagine that? Imagine being locked up in jail and you don't even know what the crime is. Damn. You can say that again. Imagine serving a sentence in jail and you don't even know why you're in jail. What would that do to you? Think about that. You've been cuffed, thrown in jail, and you say, well, what did I do? Nothing. And you're just sitting there rotting. That would really destroy your mind, wouldn't it? At least tell me what I did. Well, that's what's happening here. Our people are asking. Read.
Wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our God? Then shalt thou then say unto them,
then we shall answer them,
because your fathers have forsaken me.
So how do we answer our people and say, because your fathers, because, what does it say? Because your fathers have forsaken me. This is when we go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, verse 68. And we read thee, and the Lord shall bring thee into captivity again with ships. And thou shalt serve thine enemies for the one of all things. So once we bring this out, now we can explain what happened to us. They don't even want our people to get that. Read that verse again.
Then shalt thou say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other gods, and have served them.
And have served other gods like we're doing today. We still don't want to serve the Most High. Go ahead.
And have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law.
And we have not kept the commandments as disobedient, rebellious, hard-headed, stiff-necked Israelites. Go ahead.
And ye have done worse than your fathers.
And we today have done worse than when we were several generations ago, because that was all us. When the Bible says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, the people that Moses was actually speaking to didn't go into captivity again on ships, did they? But those same spirits, the same ones that came through those sperm cells, that comes into that egg, that's being birthed by you women, those same spirits was the same spirits that Moses was speaking to, literally. That's why he said, and the Lord shall bring thee, meaning you. He ain't saying bringing your sons. He said bringing you into bondage again, meaning that we were going to come back generations later and go into captivity. That's what it means. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. We've been here many times before. That's the point I'm making. Read.
And ye have done worse than your fathers.
And you today, us today, have done worse than when we were back there. We're fully worse than an ox and an ass now. Go ahead.
For behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me.
Children of corrupters, seed of evildoers. Remember we was reading that earlier? That's how we walk now. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, nastiness. Go ahead.
Therefore,
disobedient to parents. Go ahead.
Therefore will I cast you out of this land, into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods, day and night.
And that's what happened to us. Christianity. That's when Christianity the crack pipe of Christianity got to us. Go ahead.
Where I will not show you favor.
Until the Lord says, I've had enough of my people going, my children going many days without a sacrifice and without an image. So the Lord left us in a wretched condition until recently. Now we're trying to get the flavor back. Read.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
So there's going to come a great deliverance where it's going to be said, where the people are no longer going to talk about what happened during what we was looking at, the Ten Commandments. Ain't nobody going to be talking. That movie ain't going to play no more. Ain't nobody going to be talking about us being delivered out of Egypt, because the deliverance that's going to happen now is going to make all of that look like nothing. The way the Most High is going to destroy our enemies when he delivers us this time. Y'all getting this?
Yes, sir.
So what? Oh, everybody's talking about how the Lord delivered us from Egypt back then through the Red Sea and all of that. That's on everybody's mind now, because nothing greater than that has succeeded since that time. But when he does this deliverance here with the nuclear destruction and how we're going to barely escape it, everybody's going to remember that while they're dying. A lot of people are going to be dying. The rest of them, the ones that don't die, they're going to know about the deliverance. Oh, he delivered them children of Israel out of that American evil. They're going to remember that. Read.
Verse 15. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
And it literally means North America. There's scriptures that prove that this land of the north is talking about exactly where we are right here in Babylon the Great. Read.
And from all the lands whither he had driven them.
And he's going to deliver us from the land of all where we were gathered at. Give me, what, did you finish that verse?
No, sir.
Finish the rest of it.
And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
And he will, and the Most High say, you're going to put us back in our homeland. Give me Isaiah 31. I need that. Isaiah 31, verse 5, I think it is. No, verse 4. Start with verse 4.
Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 4. For thus have the Lord spoken unto me, like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey.
Mm-hmm.
When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them.
The Most High said that's how he's going to deal with us as the shepherds. We ain't going to be afraid to bring this truth out to wake our people up. Okay, read.
So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight.
So the Most High going to fight for us. While that's when the scriptures say that those angels going to be activated while the sanctified ones speak. Go ahead.
For Mount Zion and for the hill thereof, as birds flying.
As birds flying.
So will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem.
So give me the image of the birds flying. This Bible is beautiful, man. The Most High is going to show you how the Lord is going to defend Jerusalem. He's going to send, I think the Bible gives a count like 200 million angels. It says thousands upon thousands. It's in the book of Revelation somewhere. I think that count comes up to like 200 million. Okay? He's sending those to save us. I don't think we're going to have much of a problem with salvation with that kind of thing going on, right? You think we're going to be all right? With that kind of army coming to get us? Swing low, sweet chariot? Yes, sir. You got it? Show the image, the birds flying. As birds flying, that's how these brothers in these chariots going to come down to save Israel. Look at that. As birds flying, that is a military operation. The Most High is sending the angels. They're going to come down like that. Boy, that's going to be something, ain't it? Think about the angels coming down in them saucers. The white man can't do nothing with them. Them dudes, they debriefing them astronauts and all of that. They got to get them to talk about what they saw. And they get to talking too much and close them up. They say, you're talking too much. Because they tell them what they actually seeing out there. Yeah, got to take a drink. But read that fifth verse again.
Yes, sir. Verse 5, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem.
So will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. So the chariots are coming just like that. They're coming in that V military formation to kick pure ass. And that thing is going to be, and great shall be the day of Jezreel. Great shall be the day of Israel, brothers and sisters. Give me Revelation 11 and 11.
Revelations chapter 11 in verse 11. And after 3 days and a half.
And after 350 years, that's us being in this captivity when the Most High going to bring the spirit of wake up on us. Go ahead.
The spirit of life from God entered into them. And they stood upon their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
There was a video that I wanted to play that outlined this, so I'm going to bring that in, not today. I'll do that on another time. So it said, great fear fell upon them that saw us, because that's how they feel now. The nation of Israel is being put in order, and the Most High is going to protect us, brothers and sisters. Believe me, we did not get this far because somebody else allowed it. We got this far because we trusted in the Most High, and the Most High is establishing this truth. Don't give this credit to some Edomite, some white man, to say that they gave us. No, they ain't give us nothing. God is doing this. Right. God is doing this, and they can't stop it. No matter, even if they knock me off, they ain't stopping this truth. If they knock some of the leadership off, they're not stopping this truth. This truth is going to happen because like I said, if you get me, I'm coming back to hang your ass. That's all I'm going to say. Come back to hang you. Read.
Verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
Read.
And their enemies beheld them.
And their enemies beheld them. Our enemies going to see us being delivered while they're dying at the same time. Read on.
In the same hour was there a great earthquake.
The bombs, that's what that's talking about. Them bombs hitting and rocking and rolling in this place. Them nuclear missiles that God caused these scientists to build. Read.
And the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were affrighted.
Go ahead.
And gave glory to the God of heaven.
When we see all this, we're going to be afraid. The scripture says, only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. That's in Psalms 91. So we're going to be afraid. Can you imagine 10,000 people dying all at once? You can't even imagine that kind of killing and death. That's what the Lord is bringing. Read.
The second woe is past. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Read Isaiah 9 and 5. The scriptures say the second world, the woe meaning World War II. World War II is past. What is God doing? He's letting you know what time you're in. The second world war is already past, and behold, the third world war cometh quickly. So all what we just read from verse 11 to 14 is happening after the Second World War. Y'all understood that? After World War II, all of this, what we just read earlier, the waking up after 3 days and a half and all that, that's us coming back. The Valley of the Dry Bones, Israelites waking up. That's what this is talking about here. So the Most High right after that lets you know what time period that this is happening in. It is happening between the Second and the Third World War. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. That's the one where it's going to be the great earthquake and all that, where that bomb come and tear this place up. Read.
Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5.
We're going to describe what the third world's war going to be like.
For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood.
The previous wars to the final war of World War III was fought in the trenches. The bloody garments, the bayonets in the lungs, the arms getting chopped off. They're using their shields and bucklers and helmets and fighting in the trenches. Confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Once they got stabbed and the garments had all kinds of blood in it. The blood of the soldiers dying. That's the wars prior to this last war. Read that again.
For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise.
Go ahead.
And garments rolled in blood.
And their uniforms all bloodied up from being stabbed and shot up. Go ahead.
But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
But this war, the third woe, shall be with burning and fuel of fire. That's nuclear war. What are we reading? The Bible. The Bible's recording nuclear war right here. This third war is going to be with burning and fuel of fire. That's what's going to make this deliverance so great. Because while he's burning this place up, Israel's going to be getting the ones that's going to repent, he's going to deliver them up. It's a hell of a deal, ain't it? Right? Oh, I didn't finish the scripture. There was more in that. Go back to Isaiah. I didn't even finish the scripture. Isaiah 31 and 5. Then we come to this.
Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 5.
That's what you was trying to tell me, Officer Eli? There was more? I thought you was trying to tell me something. No? All right, read.
As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Defending also, he will deliver it. And passing over, he will preserve it.
And passing over, he will preserve Israel. Just like he passed over us with the killing of the Egyptians when we were being delivered out of Egypt. Okay, so I just wanted to bring those words in there. Now, get the other one.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know you not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
The leavening that is talking about is sin. Okay, a little bit of sin in our members, sin in our behavior, sin in our spirit. We have to get rid of that thing. Okay, like I was saying earlier. Read that again.
Your glorying is not good.
Go ahead.
Know you not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
A little bit of malice, a little bit of hatred, a little bit of envy, a little bit of grudge that you have with each other in families, husband and wife, mother and daughter, son and father, father and daughter, son and mother. Any leaven that we have in any of that, it's going to turn into something bigger if we don't get rid of it. So as we get rid of the leaven on the physical level, we have to also get rid of it in the spirit. Read.
Purge out, therefore, the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump.
That you may be a new lump, a new spirit. The Lord gives us a chance to do this. Come on.
As ye are unleavened, for even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
You see that? Even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Read on.
Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
So we can't go into the Passover having any of these thoughts of malice, envy, guile, just like it says in the book of Peter 2. What is it? 2 and 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice, guile, all of that. We got to get rid of all of that. Go ahead, read that again.
Not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
So that's how we have to be, brothers and sisters. So we need to not only get rid of the leaven physically, but get rid of it in our spirit, okay? So if there's anything else y'all want to bring up? Well, first of all, I want to just say, I want to give all glory to and praise to the Most High. Allowed us to have all praise to the Most High for allowing us to bring out this class. I have a lot here, as I always say, but I'm going to, as Bishop Kanai said, we'll remix it and finish it up, put another title on it as I finish out the information in this packet that I have here that I want to bring out.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.